this is just such an incredible
I don't even
evening.
know
I
where
got
I
this
am.
email that said Friday Night
Hello.
Lights.
Oh my gosh, look who's here.
I thought, well, as mayor of Scranton, I have three choices. I have the Scranton Knights, like crimson, Scranton Prep,
I didn't know
yellow
we were in
and
Scranton.
purple, but I had to go with Russ Scranton and the Dem Blue. We are so excited to have Coach Walls here tonight.
Oh, this is Coach. The other campaign rally doesn't start for a long time. Oops. Oh, okay.
I had the
Your
privilege of
sound
going
went
to the
off,
DC
honey.
convention. And on,
Hello?
it was the Wednesday night. I was at one of the events.
Hello?
And I met Coach Walls'
Harris
state
campaign.
championship
Hello?
team.
Hello?
Those guys were so awesome. They were
Well, we're going to hang in
their
there.
jerseys
God
that
damn it.
They had worn as high
I don't
school
care how
kids.
long we go.
They didn't all fit the same as I think they did.
So this is Scranton.
When they were in
I'm
high
going to turn
school,
this down a
but
little
they were
bit.
so excited to be there. They were having a great time.
I'm just
When I
going to
got
turn it down a
home, I
little
talked
bit,
to
and
the
I'll
campaign, and
find...
I said,
That's
"These
the
guys
mayor
would
of
be great
Scranton,
to represent
Pennsylvania. I guess Tim Walls
Can
is
we
there.
get them to
But
come
I
to
have the
Scranton,
campaign,
go to some football games,
the
maybe do
Houston
some
rally
Saturday
starting
morning
at,
events, state watch parties.
you can hear?
We'll try,
Okay,
we'll
good.
try. So I get a call last week. Mayor,
All right.
so sorry.
Hold on.
You don't get the players. But we're going to give you Coach Walls.
Sound is really wonky on their end. Just letting you know.
We're so thrilled to have him here. And it's more meaningful than just the fun of it, the Friday Night Lights, the football tradition that we have in Scranton and Pennsylvania across the nation. It's because Governor Walls, his coaching background, his teaching background, his wife's teaching background, is about community. We know that this couple has put community and people first every single moment of their lives. The way that they have led their lives and their careers is exactly what we're all about.
I'm gonna cheat a little bit.
Pennsylvania. We're about helping each other out. We're about community. We're about tradition. It's not just football, right? Right now it's Halloween season. If I go to another trunk or treat,
I know you're not going to like
candy.
me, but I love you.
There's so much candy in my house.
You know you love me.
To get through the door.
So hold on, let me turn this lady
patch,
down.
right? All this stuff.
I'm just going to turn you down. And we love Marcy Wheeler, right? And we love Nicole Sandler. Now, I'm stealing Nicole's stuff, so please support Nicole. And I don't mean to steal, but it's important because we're losing our democracy. So I'm going to go back a little bit. I want to see what they're talking about.
And so Christopher Miller, who was hired, I think kind of sort of said he would. And this
anxiety. And I thought I could
Here we
eat
go.
a gummy now and it won't kick in until the show ends.
Let's just watch a little bit of these folks.
I'll just wait a little while.
Beautiful ladies.
Yeah, you know, it's there is comfort in numbers, I think, Marcy Wheeler. And, you know, knowing that I'm not the only one feeling riddled with anxiety right now sort of helps a little bit. It is a group thing.
I am excited for this rally.
On edge right now. Everyone's kind of anxious right now, aren't we all?
Yeah, I mean, it's a crazy time. Like, we don't know whether our fellow citizens are going to vote in a fascist. It's that simple.
It is.
We don't know how many people want fascism in the United States or how many people just simply don't know because our media sucks. And they haven't bothered to tell them, like even, you know.
So Marcy Wheeler is Empty Wheel.
We start with the fact
if you don't know that. That's Empty Wheel on Twitter. She's amazing.
The New York Times got John Kelly on the record saying, yeah, he's a fascist and never ran he's a fascist headline.
Right.
Right.
Yes. Where were the calls for the fascist to drop out of the race? I mean, the New York Times went for months, it seems, saying that, you know, there are problems with Joe Biden's cognitive abilities. So it seems, you know, we have no proof, but so it seems, he should get out of the race. Where are those warnings about the
beer o'clock?
fascists?
Must be weed o'clock.
Could once again get into the Oval Office.
It's a big crowd waiting.
Then, like Washington Post
for
covered,
Houston.
The fascist, not as fascism, but as instead, Joe Biden's former aides say that he could order out the military, and they left out this was a Today story that was, sort of we don't want to talk about fascism, so this is how we'll cover it instead. And they left out that, so they had people like Mark Esper, who was asked to call out the military, and Mark Milley, and going back to remember during the Floyd protests in the summer of 2020. But they left out the fact that after Esper was fired, Johnny McEntee, who has a central role in Project 2025, Johnny McEntee was using, will you be willing to invoke the Insurrection Act as a hiring criteria, as a litmus test. And so Christopher Miller, who was
Stay
hired,
high,
I think, kind of sort of said he would. And this is something, it's public, right? Like you don't need...
Or sober. Sober's great too.
Johnny McEntee
I don't
is
knock
still
sober.
an insider, right? It's not just Mark Milley and Mark Esper who want nothing to do with that. It's also people like Johnny McEntee who are still there who will use it as a litmus test. And it's just, Nicole, back in February, remember when Alexander Smirnoff was indicted for basically framing Joe Biden? Okay.
Yeah.
And this was an incredible story. One candidate's DOJ framed the other candidate, criminally framed the other candidate. And we don't know whether Bill Barr knew it was an intentional frame job. We don't know where Alexander Smirnoff came from. We don't know why he was pushed onto the side channel, the Rudy Giuliani side channel, in which Bill Barr set up a way for Rudy Giuliani to share information he got from a Russian spy without going to jail for doing so. But we do know that Alexander Smirnoff framed Joe Biden, criminally framed Joe Biden. At least that's what he's accused of. He got charged criminally. We know that was part of this side channel. We know that this was part of the side channel Bill Barr
Ooh,
set
Lee,
up
good luck. Hi,
so that Donald Trump's personal attorney could share dirt on Hunter and Joe Biden that he got from Russian spies. Which, let's talk about how crazy it is that Bill Barr did that. Let's talk about how crazy it is that Scott Brady, the U.S. attorney he hired to kind of do vetting, we've learned that the vetting was not vetting. He didn't look at the public record. He didn't look at the impeachment record. He didn't compare comments in his documentation with prior comments of the people involved. And then when Alexander Smirnoff was indicted, we
yes,
learned,
ma'am. When Smirnoff was indicted, I was standing right fucking there in front of the LA courthouse.
The indictment in February, Alexander Smirnoff says,
and he said, I like my Smirnoff on ice.
Right? So Scott Brady lied to Congress about this. They never vetted this. They basically found somebody who was willing to frame Joe Biden, and they funneled it through the side channel and from there to the prosecution of Hunter Biden. And last year, that is almost certainly the reason why David Weiss asked to become a special counsel, because otherwise there wouldn't be a purpose to it, right? And almost certainly the reason why he reneged on the plea deal against Hunter Biden. This is a huge story. You've got one candidate framing the other one. One candidate criminally framed the other one. And I'm literally the only one who told that story that I just told to you. No one else did. Like New York Times told a part of the story one day. This was a Ken Vogel story, and they cut the part involving Rudy Giuliani. They knew the Rudy Giuliani side because they were the first ones to break that story. Made no mention of it. Like they just cut that part. They cut other parts about Bill Barr's role. They cut other, at every stage, anyone who even came close to covering this story about how Donald Trump criminally framed, or Donald Trump's DOJ. I don't know where the agency is here, but Donald Trump's DOJ criminally framed Joe Biden. Should be a huge story. Should be bigger than Watergate.
Yes.
And it just, so at that point, when no one was interested, and when instead they kept doing these god-awful dick pic sniffing stories about Hunter Biden. They're like, oh, we're going to go Hunter Biden, biggest criminal in the world. And I'm like, oh, you got to be fucking kidding me. And at that point, I was like, we will not, if we save democracy, it will be in spite of these media outlets because they are not doing what they need to do. So
Thank you.
But by what we're seeing this week, and when we say what we're seeing this week, it's that both the Los Angeles Times and the Washington Post had prepared endorsements of Kamala Harris, and their billionaire owners basically killed the endorsements.
Both of them.
And
It's,
both of them. And there's a lot of people today who are like, oh, this is a signal to everyone. I'm like, no, we got the signal in February.
Right.
Like, if you're not, a lot of people think I'm overly critical of these media outlets. And I should say, like, the New York Times did endorse Kamala Harris. The editorial side of the New York Times has been very anti-Trump and pro-Kamala Harris.
Right.
So,
right.
To their credit, if you just look at parts of their editorial page and ignore other parts, ignore the transphobic parts, ignore Brett Stevens, that part, at least they did not capitulate in the way that LA Times and Washington Post did, but their news
Lee,
side
you deserve the best
awful.
weekend
And,
ever,
their
girl.
news side is like, again, they edited out the Rudy Giuliani thing. They know better than anybody else the Rudy Giuliani thing. They kept burying is Donald Trump an agent of the Saudis? They buried that on page A18, where they sane-washed Donald Trump being kind of babbling.
Yes. His dance party, all of his insanity that we've seen over the last couple of months, which is getting deteriorating, it seems, by the day. And yeah, it's like nothing to see here. Let's move right on. Nothing.
Right.
Nothing.
So if we save democracy, it's going to be in spite of the media. And I'm seeing people already saying, like, who do we blame if Kamala Harris doesn't pull this out? I'm like, we blame the media. And it's not just the New York Times and the Washington Post. Like, there are three things going on. And I did a post last week where I lay this out. It's like, part of it is that 35 to 40% of the country lives in this hermetically sealed propaganda world created by Donald Trump, right? And that's Fox News is central to that. Donald Trump in recent weeks has been furious about Kamala Harris breaking into that. He continues his obsession with Ian Sams, who is one of Kamala Harris's spokespersons. It's like, why do you keep letting this guy on? You shouldn't let him on. I mean, Donald Trump is acutely aware that the more that Kamala Harris breaks into this hermetically sealed propaganda world, the better chance his entire thing will collapse. His entire economy will collapse. So that's a big part of it. Like 35% of the country lives in that world. The other maybe 15% of the country that could vote him into office, many of them live in a news desert. Many of them live in a world that, they get their news from Facebook or they get their news from Twitter. And as a result, they're wildly susceptible to disinformation on especially Twitter, especially since
crack open
Twitter
the green
is encouraging Nazi propaganda on his site. And so, we did this last week. We talked about I hope I remember his name. I think his name is Romero Gonzalez, this Univision participant who first 1 week asked Kamala Harris, I've heard that you're not helping people in Tampa Bay where my family is. He had heard Trump's disinformation, and Kamala Harris was able to break through that. And then the following week, he famously asked Donald Trump, I want you to win back my vote.
Right.
Tell me you did something on January 6th, and Trump just blew it off. So this was an instance, and it's not the only one, where we see when Kamala Harris gets a chance to break through disinformation, she can do that. If she has that face-to-face
yeah, it's
contact,
glorious, isn't it?
I did a bunch of posts on Harris's appearances with Liz Cheney earlier in the week, and the same kind of thing happened where you'd get a Republican say up and
just the beanie.
Say, I heard X, Y, and
just
Z,
I'm glad you
Harris
caught that,
like,
Carrie.
Well, let me set that straight.
that's an Easter egg.
So that's the baseline: is this hermetically sealed Trump propaganda world, 35 to 40% of the country. Another 8 to 13% of the country really are trying to wade through disinformation. And to their credit, some of them are doing it, but what's this world coming to? And then the traditional media, not all of them. And I really want to distinguish between, even the New York Times. I have gripes with individual journalists. I think they're terrible, but yes. The big issue is the editorial decisions. When there were 12 stories a day on Joe Biden old
Yes.
in June and July, that was an editorial decision. And it was an editorial decision to not cover things that were far more newsworthy, like, or to bury this on page A18. Like Eric Lipton has done tremendous work on Trump's conflicts.
Hey, hi,
financial
gal. We're
conflicts,
just killing
but they
time,
often, not
but with
recently, they
really good
often get- At this
information.
point, they were like, he's got a new tower. Trump
It's
Tower
Empty
deal
Wheel
in Jeddah,
Fridays on
in
Nicole
Saudi Arabia.
Sandler.
Donald Trump is literally a business partner of a frenemy government, and it hasn't been made a news issue at all. And that just is inconceivable to me. And so that's an editorial issue, right? And so that is like, if Kamala Harris loses, it's not her fault. I mean, and then add in racism and sexism. But if Kamala Harris loses, it is 100% the fault of the media in the United States. Like literally, Kamala Harris has run as good a campaign as she could have done. She, short of being a white man, there's nothing else she could do differently in this race. I think she has done a tremendous job. But if she doesn't win, the answer is that, people like Jeff Bezos are responsible.
White women.
It's not Kamala Harris.
Right. And you know what? The media in this country has
Hi,
always
Neil.
had
This
a real
started.
role in
We're
our government. They were known
still
as the
catching
fourth
up to
estate
the
for a
live, but
reason. They were the watchdogs. They were the fourth part of, the checks and balances. And
it's like
that we
40
could
minutes
depend on
in.
them. And although, as I hate to say it,
I'm
and I
kind of
think it
stealing
goes along
Nicole's
with
content. I
deregulation.
hope
Of
she
course, I come
forgives
from
me. I love her very much.
The electronic media part of it, but and I hate to throw on to Bill Clinton right now, but when he deserves it, he deserves it.
I was thinking that earlier this week. A lot of it is Bill Clinton.
It is. The Telecommunications Act of 1996 really fucked up the industry that I was a part of. And when you allowed for consolidation and the local voices to be shut out of the equation. Look, radio is my background. And it used to be the law. One company could own 7 AM, 7 FM, and I believe 7 TV stations in the country. No more than one of each per market. The TV I'm maybe a little iffy on, but that's basically what it was. And after the Telecommunications Act of 96, one company could own 7 AM, 7 FM, and I think 3 TVs in one market.
And that's how you can have a world where Fox creates
everything,
a hermetically sealed world in which 35 to 40% of the country
yes,
exists.
Scott Presler. I read about that. I posted about it.
Doctrine went away. It used to be you had to cover both sides of
we can
the
watch
story.
that if this isn't going to happen. We'll watch that press conference, Jim.
You used to have to give equal time to candidates. Not anymore. All of those regulations have gone. And I'm sorry, they poo-poo regulations. Regulations are what keep you safe. And in this case, can protect democracy.
Because people are shitty.
Aren't there anymore.
And I just want to highlight for people, it's tangentially related, but Phil Bump had an article this week, which is super interesting, of the percentage of people
we're not sure.
who watch Fox who support
we're not
Trump,
sure.
And the percentage of people who listen to NPR.
They won't say what group it is.
And it really gives you a sense.
They were
of,
very defensive, weren't they?
That there actually are more people who watch Fox who are considering Kamala Harris than, say, NPR and MSNBC. But
maybe
Fox
it was
is
the
so
League of
much
Women
more popular
Voters.
Right now,
oh my God!
And which is why Harris went on the station, and which is why Ian Sams continues to go on the station. And which is why Trump is so worried that if Harris's message gets on the station, his hermetically sealed world will start to collapse.
Sure.
And so, I mean, honestly, that's where we are. Like, I think that the non-endorsement from especially Washington Post, cowardly, people are alarmed, but I promise you where they are today is where I was.
We'll catch you up. Don't worry.
All of, the 6 months, 8 months in the interim where people think I've been overly
Let
critical.
Mama drive.
I got there in February. February is when it was crystal clear.
Did you ever see that cartoon
media outlets
where he says, "Let me be the papa"?
Part of democracy, basically.
This morning as I'm getting ready, I put out the promo for the show on the different social media sites, and I do post it on
it's
Threads.
bad.
Well, I come across
they're really nailing it in this
from
segment.
Kara Swisher, and she said, if someone wants to leak the Kamala Harris endorsement that Bezos quashed, it would make for interesting reading. And I, for one, am good at getting such documents, as Bezos knows from the old days. Game fucking on. So, okay, I'll take it. I hope she does get it. I hope all of these behemoths are exposed for what they are. And what's the end game here? They want a dictator. They want Trump to be America's Hitler. They want JD Vance to have his nightmare turned dream come true.
Well, I mean, I think it probably differs from person to person. I mean, like, obviously Elon Musk wants, and I argue today, he wants JD Vance to be president. He doesn't want Donald Trump to be president.
Well, and
I think, and there are, like, Mark Cuban is aggressively pro Harris.
Yep.
What's his name, who I don't really care about, Jamie Dimon, quietly sort of endorsed. Gates has sort of endorsed Harris. So there are billionaires who are supporting
they're quietly giving her money, though. But why won't they do it out in the light?
Do you know what? I mean, I would rather have us talk about the fact that Kamala Harris has a bajillion donors and Trump has 3.
Right.
Trump has 4. Right. Trump has Elon Musk.
That's
Trump has Miriam Adelson. Trump has Whelan, or however you say his name, UIL, whatever.
Oh, Uihlein, Richard Uihlein.
And he has Tim Mellon, and those are his clients. Those are who he's running for. And I assume Jeff Bezos. I don't know whether Jeff Bezos.
She didn't say Peter Thiel.
Trump has made threats against Jeff Bezos for years, and the man, whatever, maybe he's got something.
Yeah, they'll do whatever they need to, right, Elizabeth?
I think the motivations are different. But
although it'd be crazy, it might be, if it were a movie, it'd be fun to watch. Not if it's not a movie.
And so the billionaires, Jeff Bezos is reportedly the one who made the decision to not endorse in the Washington Post. And so
oh my God, easily, please. Oh, stop. That's too kind.
He was able
to
interfere with the works.
Thank you so much. I'll have to hit you up and I'll Venmo you because that's too much money. You shouldn't do that. Thank you. I'm so taken aback by that generosity. Thank you.
He was asked by Ben Smith, how do you avoid being tainted as
the hoodie
partisan? Because everyone thinks, not everyone, just right.
What's a voting ambassador?
Right.
You should say yes
to this Matt Viser story.
That's really generous. Thank you so much.
Matt Viser is the guy.
Let me know if you need it back, because I'll be happy to read
the original stories on Hunter Biden's gallerist, on Hunter Biden's art sales.
Okay.
And I think unintentionally, he made a gross error. He said that these paintings were selling for $150,000 or something, and they ultimately were selling for no more than $75,000 or something.
Okay.
So he said they were selling for an order of magnitude, like a bunch of them sold for $15,000. So
I used to want to work in
paintings are selling for
USAID or something like that, or someone in the State Department. I knew some people I have some good friends in the State Department, but
this is money laundering.
Always seemed like fun.
Laundering vehicle, and he was wrong. And so the article that Will Lewis pointed to, and this was, I don't know, maybe February.
Easily, thanks. That means a lot. Well, you're helping me too, so just by being here. So thank you.
Is a Trump supporter, as far as I know.
Really, seriously,
close to
just
Hunter Biden, but
hit
a
me
Trump
up.
supporter, and he really believed in Hunter's talent.
I got you, girl.
Believed he'd be able to sell Hunter Biden, but once people like Matt Viser,
I think they do. OC.
About it.
I think they do, Oren. I'll put the link in the thingamabobber. They're amazing. They're so nice.
And in the story that Matt Viser wrote, he was like, "Yeah,
and there's
really,
always a deal.
15,000 a painting, or maybe 80,000 a painting." But he didn't say, "I'm the one who misinformed you from the start.
Right.
I'm the one who told you it was an order of magnitude bigger from the start, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry I fucked up not just Hunter Biden's life, but also this Trump supporter gallerist's life who, got death threats and yada, yada." And so that was what Will Lewis pointed to as the reason why he could not be spun as partisan. And I was like, so you're pointing to shitty Hunter Biden reporting. And honestly, many, many, many outlets. I mean, NBC was particularly bad. CNN wasn't great. NBC was probably the worst. They wrote
It's Cushfly.
obviously problematic.
Here's the
stories
OC
about Hunter Biden
website
for the entire,
I'll get one for
until
you
Joe Biden got out of the race.
because I think we can get some money off.
That was their idea of being fair and balanced.
Well,
was writing.
Sorry,
really
everybody.
Really not useful, not news. Reporting
Stizzy
on the Hunter Biden cases.
Right.
And,
I like Stizzy.
It was just, I was used to this because I was
check them out and see if the prices are competitive to what I find them very competitive.
I was like,
but let it
and,
see what happens.
Credit, New York Times, particularly Charlie Savage, was like, these cases suck. Now I was far beyond
sweet
Savage
people
and the suckery, but
and they do shrooms now
cases,
too.
But this was an instance with Hunter Biden where not just were prosecutors allowed to do crazy stuff with no pushback. So there was no, literally besides me, there was no pushback from the press against some really crazy things the prosecutors did. But this was what filled the space in the entire summer. So when you go back and you say, how did Donald Trump run again without anybody talking about him being a fascist, or without anybody explaining to new voters his, the 4 indictments that he has had, and the solid basis for all of those criminal cases, and the solid basis for the 2 impeachments, and the solid basis for the Russian investigation? How is it that didn't happen? And the answer is that didn't happen because that space was replaced with Hunter Biden dick pics. And I mean that, I don't mean this figuratively. I mean that very seriously. That space, the attention that the press should have paid to Donald Trump's crimes was filled with Hunter Biden dick pics.
Right. And then you wrote another story that, I hadn't put 2 and 2 together, and you're so good at it, Marcy. And that it talks about, let me see if I can pull up the exact.
Is this the Woodward thing?
Yes, the Woodward the headline is Woodward book. Joe Biden's dementia tracked his stress about Hunter Biden. And it makes so much sense. Explain what you figured out.
So the day after the debate, and so I didn't watch the debate in real time because, of course, I'm 5 hours after everyone else.
Bingo,
I didn't watch
Carla.
the debate in real time, but as soon as I looked at it, I was like, look, that looks to me like stress, right? That looks like to me like somebody who's having a stress meltdown. And I described, and the part, I'm not disagreeing that he was old. Like I'm saying, he was able to manage being president, but when campaigning started, right? So you've got a second stressor, and then you add the G7, which is a third stressor, particularly when, if you fail, then basically NATO disappears. And then add the 4th stressor. And this is the thing that was especially crazy.
Legit.
And the post I wrote was a response to Alex Thompson.
I was so moved by that gal.
These dick pic snippers. He was trying to write a book on Biden and got canceled. And so he's still this bitter, snotty little crap sniffer. I have utter contempt for this guy because he's just useless as a journalist and so personally worked into trying to find some scandal with Joe Biden. And so he's reading the Woodward book and he's like, oh, I found it. Woodward says that donors observed Joe Biden had lost it last June. And I read the passage. I hadn't read the whole Woodward book, but I read the passage and I'm like, oh, on June 19th in the morning, West Coast time, Joe Biden was a mess. Was an absolute mess. And this was when donors first started noticing that Joe Biden was a mess. But by the end of the day, according to different donors at a different fundraiser, Joe Biden was like rocking. He wouldn't sit down 2 hours on his feet. He was engaged. It was like, okay, you're a dick pic sniffer, Alex Thompson. Let's go back and figure out what was happening on June 19th, 2023. And that is the day when Hunter Biden that is the day when Hunter Biden, when it first became clear that prosecutors were going to renege on the plea deal,
right?
That they were engaging with Hunter Biden. So like earlier in the month, they were like, okay, we'll do this plea deal, and they kept moving the goalposts,
right?
And they kept moving the goalposts because the prosecutor was under pressure, his family was being threatened, Congress was coming after him. And so he kept moving the goalposts. And on June 19th, the day that Joe Biden started out crappy and then turned out really well, that's when his attorneys, Hunter Biden's attorneys, are like, is there an ongoing investigation? Like, you're talking to me like you're trying to keep an investigation open. Beginning of the day. Later in the day, I assure you, this is what David Weiss's office said, there is no ongoing investigation. That changed over the next month. And in fact, that changed the next day. So this is what's going on, is that you're seeing, and of course, we know that Joe Biden was in constant contact with Hunter Biden. And this moment on June 19th, 2023 is when they thought they were going to solve everything. And then the next day, it's immediately clear that everything's going to blow up because of people like Jim Jordan and James Comer and Bill Barr and Donald Trump. I mean, like literally that week, Donald Trump is threatening the prosecutor again. Literally that week is when things start to blow up. Literally that week is when the attempt to frame Joe Biden gets put back on the table. Or actually June 7th, Bill Barr starts floating this effort to frame Bill Barr trying to frame Joe Biden. Like, why is this not a story? And so if you know the Hunter Biden case, as Alex Thompson was paid to know, then you know June 19th is a day that in the Biden household was unbelievably stressful, unbelievably chaotic. And meanwhile, Joe Biden is trying to fly to the West Coast. He's 80 at this point and trying to fundraise from these people. Wow. And I, the day after the debate, so June 28th, I said, I think that the added stress of what Hunter Biden is going through probably is what creates this performance. That doesn't mean he shouldn't drop out. It means that what we're seeing isn't necessarily dementia, it's stress. And, I look as stupid as that when I'm super stressful and I'm, not 81.
Right.
And so I wrote that on June 28th. And meanwhile, and so
which
Woodward's
documentary?
book,
I'm sorry.
in the discussion of why Joe Biden dropped out, describes Tony Blinken saying, nobody in the public knows, except for me, I guess.
Oh,
Tony,
cool. Oh, good. I'm so glad.
Understands how much
they really have been
Hunter
for me.
Biden's
I'm glad the
troubles got to
prices
Joe Biden.
work for you too.
And Biden is racked by guilt that Hunter would never have gone through this if it weren't for him being president.
Right.
He's racked by guilt. And then everything starts to make sense. So it's a very short passage in Woodward's book, but
we're going to be on all night. It's an all-nighter.
150 dick pic sniffers in DC.
No, I've got a couple of other things.
But everything makes sense then.
We'll see.
Joe Biden collapsed because of the stress of Hunter Biden, which all of these people reported in real time. They went to the trial and were very gleeful. They were like, "Oh my God, this is so stressful." Jill Biden's there. His Naomi had to take the stand, and she was asked if she did drugs. Oh my God, this is so. I mean, it was Tiger Beat reporting.
Are we able to watch Bad Faith if I own it, or is that one that will get struck? I wonder.
It was just.
It was an attack. It was,
so they spent the first 2 months of June talking about how humiliating this was, and by June 27th, they had forgotten that. They had forgotten that this entire family was had to relive Hunter Biden's worst moments of addiction 5 years earlier.
Right.
And had to do it in a legal situation, and had to do it with all of these dick pic sniffers there, and.
Yes, Neil. I actually wanted to watch that.
So Woodward suggests that Hunter Biden is part of this.
Exactly.
And then remember, they were like, why is Hunter Biden being consulted about whether or not Joe Biden should drop out or not? And I was like, well, probably because his life is on the line.
Sure.
Right. And Kamala Harris was asked in that terrible NBC interview this week, and Haley, what is her name?
Haley Jackson.
Yeah, Haley Jackson's like, oh, you knew that Joe Biden was inept or was impaired. And Harris was like, I know that he was really experienced and he brought a lot to the table. I mean, she's not saying that he wasn't old. She's saying that he had so much experience and so much wisdom that he still does the job well. And Haley, what is her
Jackson.
name?
Haley Jackson.
It was a terrible interview. So Jackson is like, oh, that's the reason. That's the reason that he dropped out because, and Harris was like, you ask him whether there was another reason why he dropped out. You ask him.
Right.
And and if you think about it, like maybe he dropped out because it was the right thing to do for Hunter Biden. And since then, of course, Hunter Biden pled guilty in the tax case, and we'll see what happens after the election, whether, I still think Hunter Biden could get out. Like there are real problems with both cases, but particularly the gun case in Delaware. So we'll see what happens after the election. But, whatever. Woodward says that my speculation or my hypothesis back on June 28th had some, like me and Tony Blinken agree that this is something that might lead to the kind of collapse performance that Joe Biden had.
Without a
doesn't
doubt.
mean he was wrong to drop out. Doesn't mean we're not better off for him having dropped out. But,
right.
But people, it is just atrocious, right? That a significant part of the Hunter Biden focus comes from Russia. And the same people were like, oh, we learned our lesson. We're not going to publish this Iranian stuff.
Right.
Never come to grips like, well, Lewis did this. Oh, we learned our lesson. I'm like, no, you
That's
didn't.
all right.
Like,
We can
2 weeks
also
ago,
take
you
a
guys were
break
publishing
after
Hunter
this
Biden
and
dick pics.
then
Same thing with
come
New York
back
Times.
closer
Like, you didn't
to,
learn your
or we
lesson.
can
You're
just.
still chasing the fucking Hunter Biden laptop,
I don't know.
That's right.
which has no news on it.
I think I can fill the time.
It's like it's
maybe.
an attention distraction device. And
I'll
Donald
do a
Trump
song and dance.
is brilliant. One of his absolute genius skills is attention distraction.
Right.
And that is what he did with the Hunter Biden thing. That is what Russia did with the Hunter
That's
Biden
right.
thing. And these journalists just don't care that they were witting partners of it. Like Alex
Right.
Thompson doesn't care like that these journalists could go from gleefully covering this deliberately humiliating trial in the first 2 weeks of June, and then by June 27th, forget
Right.
about
No,
it.
I know,
Forget about,
Carla.
like,
She said that
how
earlier. She's in
debilitating,
Ireland.
how stressful, how awful that was.
Right, but it's not only that. The other element to it is
I like wine drinking,
again, it goes to
Marcy.
every accusation is a confession. It is the psychological warfare of this. They targeted the Biden family, and the best way to get at Joe Biden was to go after his son, and they know that Joe Biden is actually a great dad who loves his kids, who would do anything for them. And he wears his heart on his sleeves when his kids are concerned, his whole family. And so go after Hunter, and this is a way to throw him off his game. And you outlined it perfectly in this post. It's exactly what they did. And yet that's what Trump accuses them of doing to him. Political prosecutions, they're going after political enemies. Bullshit. It's what he's doing.
Yeah, and the thing that really infuriates me, Nicole, is and I will give Peter Baker credit because I'm not a huge fan of his, but he did a fairly comprehensive story of Donald Trump's corruption.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of a mess around the stadium.
Included Hunter Biden, but virtually every other version of that story, including 100 from Maggie Haberman, I'm only slightly exaggerating. When people do these stories, including one recent one from Mike Schmidt, when people do these stories about Trump going after his opponents, they always, except for this Peter Baker story and me, they always ignore Hunter Biden.
Wow.
They always ignore Hunter Biden. And it's like, there's no question. That's what the first impeachment was about.
That's right.
There's no question that Donald Trump did something unprecedented to go after Hunter Biden. And he continued, right? Like he was still eliciting death threats against the prosecutor last June. And that is something the prosecutor testified to Congress about. He said he was worried for the safety of his family. And that was, he didn't say that's why I reneged on the plea deal, but he did say that he was worried for the safety of his family, and he did renege on the plea deal. So, put 2 and 2 together. And so the notion that we've just disappeared Trump's role in prosecuting Hunter Biden, and there were more moments of it, like he directly asked Bill Barr about it. He directly asked Jeffrey Rosen
and
about it.
Elon Musk has a security clearance.
As I said, he issued threats.
I know it's
against
low,
David
or
Weiss.
TS, I think, is what we found out?
It's a classic case of how Donald Trump does this. It's a classic case of what Donald
I know
Trump
he
would
has
do with
to,
the
but
second
still,
administration.
where are we?
And
What?
people have
Who's running
disappeared
stuff?
that that's part of his abuse. And I think one of the reasons they've disappeared it is because they're now complicit, right?
Yeah.
Most media outlets have just gleefully chased Hunter Biden dick pics for the
Oh,
last 3
very
years.
nice.
And if
I love
this is
Tiburon.
corrupt, if doing that is corrupt, then they need to look themselves in the mirror and talk about
Keep a
why
hold of
they're
your phone
complicit, why
easily.
why they're a part
I know
of
it's
it. And
exciting.
so,
Willie Nelson's coming up.
Let me talk about early voting.
Okay, let's do that. Let's segue here. Yes.
Okay, so there's good news and bad news out of early voting.
Okay.
The bad news is for those who follow John Ralston, who I recommend,
right?
he's really
Nevada.
reliable.
Mm-hmm.
There is a difference in voting patterns in Nevada this year.
Okay.
And that, and remember, this is the Harry Reid machine, but Reid has been dead a while.
Yeah.
Normally it's been a vote by mail state for a long time, and normally Democrats have basically a cushion by the time election day comes around. What is happening this year in Nevada is two things that are concerning. And one is that there's great turnout in rural areas by vote by mail. So, and that, there's no way to spin that. That's Republican. That is Trump support. And then in addition, there is better than normal Republican turnout in Clark County, in Las Vegas. Mm-hmm. And normally what happens is Democrats, there's so many Democrats in Clark County that they win by winning Clark County. Clark County is so much bigger than the rest of the state.
Right.
And so those two things are different from the pattern. Now, that doesn't mean Democrats are doomed. This is true of both Nevada and Arizona. There's a larger chunk of people who are not affiliated with the party. Because now you get automatically registered. And so you can't tell what those people are doing. And they don't act like Democrats or Republicans. And so you can't tell what's going on in a way that, 16 years ago, you could tell exactly what was going on because more people were registered and you knew exactly what to expect. But so those are concerning issues. We've talked before about the fact that more Republicans have voted in Arizona than Democrats. There are more Republicans in Arizona than Democrats.
Right.
In any state where you can track by gender, though, early turnout is at least of the level that is a win that was a win for Joe Biden in 2020.
Okay.
Right. So you're talking 55-45 generally, but in Michigan, it's 56-44. It's even more. But because the gender gap this year is it's a mirror image. Trump gets better support from men. Kamala Harris gets better support from women. Women are more consistent voters. And women are on base a bigger part of the electorate. So if Kamala Harris, if that gender gap is a mirror image, if they have the same gender gap, but Kamala Harris's supporters come out at a 70% rate rather than a 60% rate, right? If the gender gap is a perfect mirror, then Kamala Harris wins. If more women turn out, then Kamala Harris wins big, right? And one of the things about polling is that polling this year, Nate Cohn has written, 100 stories about here's how pollsters have adjusted for the two misses, the 2016 and 2020 miss on Donald Trump. But he never talks about Dobbs, right? Virtually with the exception of the Ohio referendum, virtually every attempt to pull a Dobbs-related election, so an abortion referendum after Dobbs, has missed by
Carrie.
huge numbers, right? And so pollsters have spent all this time trying to avoid underestimating Donald Trump's support, and they've done funky things with their numbers, but they haven't at least they haven't told us that they've tried to adjust for a Dobbs effect, for the fact that in the wake of Dobbs, you've got people dying, women dying, or women, losing their ability to give birth, or losing, bleeding out in a hallway, given the effect of Dobbs. So, where we can see gender, we are seeing the kind of numbers that you would want to expect. And then one of the things you can't really poll well for is, I really don't trust New York Times Siena polls, but one of the Siena polls showed that Kamala Harris had picked up 4% of Republican support in the last month. And I didn't look at the one that came out yesterday, but there are some polls that show that Kamala Harris is picking up Republican support, that this effort to partner with Liz Cheney is working.
Right, Jen?
Donald
So
Trump is going
true.
to get Nikki Haley out and do an event with her.
Badger, I
There's a
agree.
sense
Polls are
that
garbage.
He's seeing it work.
And yeah, Dobbs is,
You're seeing, for example,
should be a no-brainer.
There is a sense that people who are deciding late are deciding for Kamala Harris, even though that doesn't show up in the polls. Like, the polls say that Donald Trump has ticked up in support, but in different other kinds of polls, you're still seeing late-breaking support for Kamala Harris. You're seeing lots of Republicans who are endorsing her.
Yes.
Fred Upton was the one yesterday, which I fully expected. He was the former Congress. Like, there was a point where there was if Republicans couldn't elect a speaker, everyone was like, well, we'll elect a Republican speaker. The Democrats plus 10 Republicans will elect a Republican speaker. And everyone was like, Fred Upton is the guy. He's a great guy, represented Kalamazoo for years. He came out for Kamala Harris. The mayor of Waukesha, Wisconsin, came out for Kamala Harris. So you're seeing these prominent Republicans come out for Kamala Harris. And then you've got all of his former aides saying he's a fascist, right? Wow. And I think that is working with some kind of suburban Republicans. And I think that works for some Latinos who may not be Republicans, but it may work for. So those are things that I think are positive for Harris. Another thing that we're seeing in the polling is that there's a huge difference. Like these 1,200 person polls that are national, their subset of young voters is so small that it's useless. It's garbage. And some pollsters have done overweighted polls of Latinos, African Americans, especially Latino and African American young men and young voters. But if you compare those results with dedicated polling for those same groups, there's a big difference. Like the dedicated polling for those groups, especially, Latinos have always been hard to poll, young voters, hard to poll and hard to reach, right? So if there's a miss on those groups, which everyone admits are hard to poll, or too small a part of the electorate in these larger polls, if they match what you're seeing in the dedicated polls, then that's another sign that Kamala.
I think he's glad it's not him.
Like, the polls that you're seeing aren't asking people. They're not polling the electorate. They're polling, and so. I think I'm more optimistic than a lot of people for partly those polling reasons. I do think polling is not doing a particularly good job this year. I think none
exactly,
of the
Elizabeth Rasmussen comes to mind.
And I certainly acknowledge the possibility that, look, there are a shit ton of Americans who are gleefully voting for Donald Trump. Do not, like the huge number of people voting in rural Nevada, that's real. Yeah. That's absolutely real. Trump's supporters really believe that they need to bring him back because they believe all of his bullshit about it's the end of America unless you bring me back. So his supporters are very enthusiastic. Many more of them are low turnout voters. There are, like Elon Musk's turnout machine has problems with it. That's Nevada. I'm forgetting the second state. So there are questions about Trump's turnout ability. And there's some, like you see some complaining about Kamala Harris's, but whatever Kamala Harris is doing, she's like bringing a bazooka to it. I mean, she has tons of people, and they're doing a particularly strong focus on people overseas, and I got 3 or 4 contacts to send my vote in. So I'm
yes,
swing state
Sheriff
voter,
Mark Lamb,
of course, but I was talking to two Pennsylvania
or Reno
overseas
911
voters as well, and they got a lot of contact as well. So you're seeing, we don't know how it's going to turn out, and I don't want to mislead people. It's still a 50-50 election, which
is mind blowing. The fact that we know who these two candidates are, and the fact that it's a 50-50 election, the fact that so many Americans are willing to believe this con man and fall for his scams, it's terrifying. And
I don't think it's a matter of willing. I think it's a matter of he is a very good con man, and I think that you don't decide one day to fall for a con. Mm-hmm. You don't.
Right.
And Trump does things assisted by the media. I mean, one of the things that drives me nuts that the media does.
I think I found a synopsis of that documentary.
Trump knows how useful repetition is in propaganda. Mm-hmm. And the one that drives me nuts is he repeats always, like, I have been unfairly persecuted. Not true.
No.
Easy to fact check, right?
Yep.
And not only does the
Bye,
media
Neil. Take care.
But they repeat.
I would go the other way around.
Him making these claims over and over again. Like, journalists love to retweet his fucking Truth Social tweets, right?
Yep.
And they do it without any kind of filter. They're just like, here's what Trump said. They don't fact check. They don't, like, what I do is I put big X's through it so people see that it's an artifact, that it's a spectacle. But they just disseminate it. Yeah. And it's like, what good are you doing? You're basically disseminating propaganda without any pushback. And so they have been part of the repetition of these false claims over and over and over and over again without any kind of fact check.
I think you're right, Oren, though. I think
blame people.
Oh, I know Phil Lesh died today.
If they've seen
Rest
the claim
in
that Trump was
peace.
unfairly
Grateful
prosecuted
Dead.
100 times, and they believe it because they're not seeing any pushback of that.
Right. Well, and that's the detriment. That's the legacy of this media, who is not doing their job as the fourth estate. And so that brings us to, I guess, was this yesterday that, so Kamala Harris has been making appearances with Liz Cheney. I mean, I got to hand it to the group of Republican people who are dealing with reality, who've seen the light, as it were, and who are willing to come forward and sound the alarm about what's going on. So there was an appearance yesterday. I think it was yesterday. It was Kamala Harris with Liz Cheney, and I guess it was moderated by Maria Shriver.
And I think that was like 3 days ago.
Was it 3 days ago? So I've been out, and
Shriver did. I'm going from memory, but I believe Shriver moderated the Michigan event. But
this was in Michigan, Royal Oak, Michigan.
They did 3 events, one starting in Philly, then in Michigan, and then in Waukesha, Wisconsin. And the bookend ones were done by Bulwark people. Okay. So the Never Trumper outlet. And look, as you said, these Republicans who are endorsing Kamala Harris, they're going to be on the target list ahead of me even.
Yeah, right.
They're going to be sent to the camps before I am. And, when the Washington Post is too cowardly to publish an endorsement of Kamala Harris, but Mark Milley is willing to, go on the record, that it's just cowardly.
It
anyway,
is.
Maria Shriver. So Maria Shriver was a great pick for this, right? Mm-hmm. So she was married to a Republican governor for years.
Yep.
But she's a Kennedy. And she, we've talked about this Liz Cheney, Kamala Harris thing. One of the things it is, like, they're my generation. Like, I'm an Xer, right? Mm-hmm. And one of the things they're trying to do is reach out to, like, the primary target of this effort is Republican women who live in, like, Oakland County. The Michigan one was in Oakland County. Waukesha is the suburb outside of Milwaukee. I think the Pennsylvania one was in Montgomery County, but I'm not sure. But, the idea is suburban women is where Donald Trump lost the 2020 election.
Thank you,
Kamala Harris
Oren.
should significantly improve on her performance among suburban women. So they're targeted at like, you know, suburban women who are my age to Kamala Harris's age, right? You know, like Liz Cheney is a couple years older than me, and Kamala Harris is a couple years older than her, and then
I'm a couple years older than
older. So you've got a 10-year span of women who are these smart women who often live in suburbs, and that's the background to this.
Right. And when I played this, you sent me the clip yesterday and said, please, let's have this ready for tomorrow. And I got to tell you, it helped me because I've been dealing with this anxiety. I've been, it overwhelms me. I'm very emotional anyway, and this shit gets to me. And I've been doing a good job keeping it at bay, but the last few days, I'd be lying if I said it wasn't affecting me. And so I watched this, and it sort of, part of it is misery loves company, but the other part of it is we could use a group hug right now. So here's.
I send this out. I've been sending it out. I mean, I didn't send it out today because I was wandering around Paris, but I keep sending it out because it's so great.
It is. So let's listen to this. Here we go.
Representative Cheney.
Do that. Let's do that.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's make that a way forward. The final word, Madam Vice President, you know, everybody I talk to says, you know, I have to turn off the news. I can't read anything. I'm meditating. I'm doing yoga. I'm so anxious. I just don't even know. I'm eating gummies, all kinds of things, you know. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Not eating gummies. I'm going to eat gummies. I need a lot of them.
Okay, we got that clear. But how do you, how do you handle the anxiety, the stress, the turmoil? Everybody's freaked out. I talked to the gentleman up there. He's like, I'm so scared. A woman's like, I'm so anxious. I can't sleep. Do you sleep?
You know, I wake up in the middle of the night usually these days, so to be honest with you, but I work out every morning. I think that's really important to just kind of, you know, mind, body, and spirit. But let me just say this.
No, say more about that.
But I will. I work out. I try to eat well.
I thought it was funny that Trevor said that since Arnold was so central
to the kids
in
and
like
my husband every day. We've been Doug and I have been kind of,
since Arnold is what?
Oh, Arnold was so central on like mind body. Like you got to exercise.
Right. Yeah. Yep, she's right. And they get back to that. Okay, so here.
You know, traveling, we're trying to cover a lot of ground, so we're not with each other every day these days, but my family grounds me in every way. But if I can just speak to what people are feeling.
Please.
We cannot despair. We cannot despair. You know, the nature of a democracy is such that I think there's a duality. On the one hand, there's an incredible strength when our democracy is intact. An incredible strength in what it does to protect the freedoms and rights of its people. Oh, there's great strength in that. And it is very fragile. It is only as strong as our willingness to fight for it. And so that's the moment we're in. And I say do not despair because in a democracy, as long as we can keep it in our democracy, the people, every individual has the power to make a decision about what this will be. And so let's not feel powerless. Let's not let and I get it, overwhelming nature of this all, make us feel powerless, because then we have been defeated. And that's not our character as the American people. We are not one to be defeated. We rise to a moment, and we stand on broad shoulders of people who have fought this fight before for our country. And in many ways, let us look at the challenge then that we are being presented and not be overwhelmed by it. The baton is now in our hands to fight for, not against, but for this country we love. That's what we have the power to do. So let's own that. Dare I say, be joyful in what we will do in the process of owning that, which is knowing that we can and will build community and coalitions and remind people that we're all in this together. Let's not let the overwhelming nature of this strip us of our strength. That's how I feel about
Wow.
this.
Wow. Yeah, I'll tell you something.
Pretty good.
I need to put that on a loop. I think we all need to heed those words. I need to listen to that because that helped. She's good.
If Kamala Harris wins, we're going to need to go back and talk about language like that that she learned from the civil rights movement, that she learned from coming up in Black liberation, like in coming up from being immersed in the late after effects of the civil rights movement, because that's the kind of leadership that she was modeled.
Yep.
And that is what, not all of us white people have that.
Right. No.
And it's a gift. And that language that she was speaking right there, I've been thinking, because I keep playing it over and over again, but I just think when she says we're standing on the shoulders of those who came before,
yes,
she's got people in mind.
She does. She does.
And that she is the bridge, hopefully, to teach the rest of us to stand on those same shoulders. I think, let's hope it works.
Let's hope it works. And again, believe me, I will be sending that out. I will be posting that. I will be sharing it with people and playing it for myself as I try to. We got another week. We got another week of this.
Hi, Paul
and
J.
just to get through it. And then after November 5th, the whole
We got more coming. Hang in there.
can of worms opens to us. So I just, this is the one day at a time thing. And
speaking of the can of worms,
I guess we just have to take it one day at a time, but listen to those words and hold on to that hope.
And a million people asked to go to her event today in Texas.
Oh,
a million
wow.
people.
Oh, wow.
A million people.
We had
with Beyonce in Texas.
With Beyonce in Texas. We had
and
Springsteen
Willie
out there
Nelson
yesterday and doing another one. And then there's
I know,
still
I need a
another
little
one
coffee
that's
too.
happening that hasn't been announced yet. So I'm guessing maybe that's Taylor Swift. Who knows? It doesn't really matter.
It's probably Leon Panetta.
I'd opt
That's
for
a good
the Taylor
one.
Swift.
I
I'm
love
not really a
Marcy.
Swiftie,
She's so
but okay,
smart.
Whatever it is.
Just people listen to that "Do Not Despair" thing, because honestly, I laid out what's going on in the polling. It's still a 50-50 race, but we're seeing some good news in the early returns. But definitely, cause to be concerned in
It's
Nevada.
podcast inception.
And I think people were
I know. Nicole, I'm stealing your content today because I got fucked over by the Kamala Harris campaign because they can't put up a goddamn time.
Good results for Harris. So there is cause to be positive. Just don't look
I hate them.
Despair is not an option. Despair is not an option. We have, and I'm saying this for myself as much as for anybody else out there. And my regulars know I'm a mess. So next week we are going to record on Thursday because I'm going to take off for a few days for my birthday with my daughter. I will be back for Election Day, but I'll be out on Friday and Monday.
All right.
Friday.
We'll say goodbye to Nicole and Marcy for now and grateful to them for sharing with us. We've got a little bit of the future VP. Hold on just a moment. Try and do things real fancy like here, but I'm not very good at it. No, I'm not.
A country that we want to see, a society that we want to see. It's a privilege.
Oh,
it's
shoot.
a privilege.
Hold on.
One vote.
I'm coming back.
In each precinct in Pennsylvania.
What the fuck? Oh, all right. Well, it went right to the Houston thing. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. They must have taken us away from Scranton and down to Houston. Oh yeah, watch the music. You're right. God damn it. All right, here's what we're going to do. Actually, I have another thing for us to do. So we're going to leave that. I'm going to leave it right there. But now what I'm going to do. I had something else. Here it is. Whoop, there it is. Wait, where is it? Oh, where are you? Oh, there you are. Oh, there you are. What's that? Oh, that's not. Okay, I don't need that. All right. Hold on. Stay with me, 'cause this is the thing from Lancaster. Lancaster. They call it Lancaster, Pennsylvania. I think the way they pronounce it. Which I didn't know. I called it Lancaster, so I'm really glad that I heard this for many reasons. Not the least of which is now I know how to pronounce Lancaster. I know, right? I had the close-up face cam too. All right, I'm so sorry for repeating this. What is their emblem? It's a big, it's balls. It's a ball sack, upside down ball sack. No, I'm just kidding. Lancaster. Lancaster. Lancaster? 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 I think she says Lancaster. I hope Scott Presler goes through some real stuff. Maybe that's why he's a little grumpy these days. Have you noticed him being a little grumpy? Little grumpy grump? Little grumpy group?
Thank you for being here. My name is Ray DiAgostino. I am the Vice Chairman of the Lancaster County Board of Commissioners and also the Chairman of the Lancaster County Board of Elections. As we,
he sounds
the Board
sad.
of County Commissioners and the Board of Elections have said throughout this entire election cycle and years prior, Lancaster County runs each election with the principles of integrity, veracity, and transparency. It is our duty as elected leaders of this county conduct elections that the voters can feel confident in. We take that role seriously.
Nope,
and
but
so do
he
the
is.
hardworking staff in the elections office.
I don't think
and
he's a
our
tenant media
volunteers.
guy. I'm not sure.
Through
I think he's a
training
Mike
and
Flynn guy
expertise,
and a Roger
it
Stone
is
guy.
their work and the work of hundreds of volunteers that allows us to conduct elections that are safe, secure, and allow every eligible voter to legally cast their ballot. The staff takes seriously all the principles that I just outlined and all facets of our election, from voter registration to the publishing of results and all aspects in between. It is through their diligence that our staff uncovered apparent incidents of attempted voter registration fraud.
We read about
here
that
in
this
Lancaster
morning,
County.
Lee.
To the staff's normal review process, as many as 2,500 completed voter registration forms are being researched for potential fraud stemming from 2 separate drop batches by individuals. At that time, staff
I don't think he
contacted
ever
the
did,
Attorney's
Jim.
Office and members of the Board of Elections.
I'm not sure he ever worked for them.
Applications in these batches are going through an extensive multi-step review process, including
No, you're right. Maybe
the
he did
District
way in the
Attorney's
beginning.
Office for further investigation is warranted. This includes issues of duplicate handwriting matching other voter registration forms in the batches, inconsistent signatures with what is on the file in the SURE system, because some of these or many of these are duplicates, unverifiable
It's got to be his group.
and/or accurate
I'm sorry.
addresses,
It's got to be his group.
an inaccurate driver's license or social security number verification. We have an obligation under the election code, just not only that, but a moral obligation to investigate any matters
Oh, he is
of
mad.
potential fraud. Applications that have gone through this extensive review and investigative process and are not deemed to be fraudulent are being processed. I want to stress this. No eligible voter will be turned away. We'll also add that the Commonwealth Department of State and the Attorney's General Office has been notified of this matter. We've called this press conference today to share this information with voters and with all the views so that people can feel confident in the security of Lancaster County's elections and that we take these matters seriously. As we have said previously, and I just
I love
mentioned,
our
elections
Jamie.
here, we do it with integrity, veracity, and transparency. And here in Pennsylvania, elections have become more complex as we have been conducting now for at least a couple of weeks, 3 different types of elections simultaneously. Adding this challenging matter on top of this adds to that task. So on behalf of the board,
I
want to
can't
sincerely
really
thank
tell.
Krista Miller, the Chief Clerk of the Elections Board and Voter Registrations Commission, her staff and volunteers for their hard work, dedication, diligence, and perseverance, particularly in the face of recent false and misleading statements regarding aspects of their work. I also want to thank Larry George and the Board of Commissioners staff for answering the call to assist in this monumental task. We could not do it without them. And finally, enormous appreciation to District Attorney Heather Adams, who is here today, and her staff for their assistance. This also would not be possible without their help. Please understand this is truly
Oh, it's
a
by
team
design,
effort.
isn't it, Max?
I also want to thank our solicitor who's here today and all her work in terms of making sure that
Oh, good.
everything
I'll
we
look
do
that up, Carla. Paul
is
J.
following
Scott
the law.
Presler's an operative for the right wing that
This time I'm going to turn it
focuses
over to
on
District
registering voters.
Attorney Heather Adams for a statement and update on the investigation, followed by comments by my colleagues, Commissioners Yoder and then Parsons, and then we will open it up for questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Good morning, everyone. District Attorney Heather Adams. On Tuesday afternoon, I was contacted by Krista Miller, who is our Chief Clerk of Elections, regarding potentially fraudulent voter registration applications that had recently been received by her office. At that time, she informed me that the Elections Office received approximately 2,500 applications at or near the deadline for registering to vote. While preparing to process these applications, staff noticed that numerous applications appeared to have the same handwriting, were filled out on the same day with unknown signatures, and some were previously registered voters, excuse me, and the signatures on file did not match the signatures on the application. So before I begin to summarize our preliminary findings, I must remind everyone that this is an ongoing investigation, and for that reason, I will be limited in the details that I can provide. Lancaster County detectives began investigating the voter registration applications and immediately found applications that were indeed fraudulent. Indicators of fraud included inaccuracies with the addresses listed on the applications, false personal identification information, as well as false names. A number of the applications also contained names that did not match the provided Social Security information. In some cases, applications contained correct personal identification information, such as the correct address, correct phone number, date of birth, driver's license number, and Social Security number. But the individuals listed on the applications informed detectives that they did not request the form, they did not complete the form, and verified that the signature on the form was not theirs. At this point, it is believed that the fraudulent voter registrations are connected to a large-scale canvassing operations for voter registrations that date back to June. However, the majority of the applications received are dated August 15th and after. Those canvassing for voter registrations were employed and paid to obtain voter registration applications. The majority of the applications were from residents in the city of Lancaster. However, applications were also received from residents in Columbia, Elizabethtown, Mountjoy, Akron, Ephrata, Stevens, Strasburg, as well as other locations across Lancaster County. The canvasses themselves took place at various shopping centers, parking lots of grocery stores and businesses, sidewalks, and parks. During this preliminary investigations, detectives were able to verify some of the applications were indeed legitimate. In these instances, the applicant verified that they did provide information to a canvasser. For these applications, we will immediately advise voter registration and that we confirm that they are legitimate requests, and voter registration will process that application. Thus far, of the investigations that we have completed, we have determined that 60% have been fraudulent. That is of the investigations that we've completed. We do have more to do today, and my understanding is that voter registration is still going through the box of 2,500, but should be completed sometime here today. As I said, the investigation is ongoing. We are aware of at least 2 other counties that received similar applications that are currently being investigated. At this point, we have confirmed violation of our crimes code as well as our elections code. We have all available detectives working on this.
I
We're
crack
all hands on
myself
deck
up.
so that we can properly assess the validity of these applications in a timely manner. If needed, we will
Yes,
request
Max has the
additional
411 on
assistance
Scott
from our local police
Presler, Paul
departments.
J.
The message to the public is this, and this is a limited message to those who may have been impacted with this batch of 2,500. If you have reason to believe that your personal information was used on a voter registration application without your consent, or if you were approached by someone and asked to register under suspicious circumstances, we do want to hear from you. You can call the Lancaster County District Attorney's Office, 299-8100, and ask to speak to the on-call detective.
Oh, I hope so.
wanna
I hope
thank the
Scotty
staff,
flips like a
of the Voter
pancake.
Registration Office for their excellent work, their diligence, and cooperation in this investigation. We will, of course, release any additional information that we can as the investigation proceeds. This time, I want to turn it over to Commissioner Alice Yoder.
Thank you. And I also want to start out by thanking the election team for the work that they've been doing. It's been ongoing. They've been working really hard, as you'll be able to tell from the information that I will share. So I want to start out by thanking them as well. What I'd like to do is to be able to provide an update on the election as it stands to date and some of our progress. At the close of business today, all voter registration applications outside of those identified to contain incidents of fraud will be processed and in the system. As of Thursday, October 24th, yesterday, Lancaster County has 365,210 registered voters. This is a Lancaster County record. We had 354,291 registered voters in 2020. If the SURE system has identified a voter's registration application as requiring further information, that voter will automatically receive a letter with instructions. An important reminder that voters can check their voter registration status, polling place location, and mail ballot application status on the Department of State website, and we encourage everyone to do that. Any voter who has questions after checking the Department of State website should contact the Board of Elections office. As of the end of the day, Thursday, October 24th, yesterday, the Board of Elections office has received 65,873 requests for mail-in ballots. Around 46,000 completed ballots have been returned already. The deadline to request a mail-in ballot is 5 p.m. on Tuesday, October 29th. Voters have until 8 p.m. on Election Day to return their ballots. At this point, we recommend that you come into the elections office to drop off your ballot based on not being certain how the mail will go in this short period of time, so please come in. The election office continues to serve voters at the counter each day, on an average 350 voters at the counter each day. The election office will continue to offer extended hours for mail-in ballots requests and to drop off your mail-in ballots. And I'd like to just remind everybody of those extended hours. Friday, today, October 25th, it's 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. Saturday, October 26th, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. Monday, October 28th, it's 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. And Thursday, October 31st, it's 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. Friday, November 1st, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And Saturday, November 2nd, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. The county has also reserved free parking that's available on Chestnut outside the post office for voters to come in to drop off your
All
mail-in
right,
ballot.
thank you. I really like that woman. Okay, so you got some of the gist. Basically, the Lancaster.
And we encourage you to do
sorry,
so.
the Lancaster
I'll now
board.
turn it over to Commissioner.
Okay, stop. Everybody loves you, but stop. Okay, let me get this other one going. Hold on. But it looks like they've got their setup now. Hold on just a moment. I want to make sure we don't miss anything. I don't want to miss anything. Anyway, that's that. Okay. I would rather have it there. Okay, and then this one I can boop. I'm gonna boop. I'm gonna boop. Then I'm gonna boop. Okay, stop doing that. Okay, I'm sorry. That was my bad. That was my fault. I don't understand OBS sometimes. Sometimes I don't do good on OBS. Where's my damn screen? Hello? Well, you know what? I'd rather be early than late. That's for sure, Z's. Okay, let's see here. Let's get this big. Big! We'll have it, we'll probably have to turn the music off, but that's okay. Believe in love after love. And you know what? Unfortunately, I'm going to actually sing every song, so that's probably what I should just stop. Huge crowd. This is going to be as Flinner Stone op. Yes. So thank you, Carrie, for bringing us back. So the situation, and I'm sure you all understand it quite well, but just to make sure everybody who might be watching catches on to some of the important details, because there was a lot of information about how they process votes in Lancaster. So it was identified that there was a group of 2,500 requests for registration that didn't end up, a portion of which, I think at one point the DA says it was 60% that they've identified of that 2,500 group of registrations. And in identifying that, they were able to isolate, and she did say this later on in the press conference, that it was one group who was one organization, she put, that was gathering these particular voter registrations. And she said not all of them were fraudulent, and the ones that weren't have been processed, et cetera. And they're doing their due diligence. It was really quite a good explanation of what they're trying to do to get to the bottom of it. And basically the system worked, right? The review of ballots worked, or requests rather. And, an attempt at fraud was identified. So this could be, in my mind, we don't know. It's, that's right. Sorry. 60% of those that have been investigated. Thank you so much, Oomph. That's a good clarification. 60% of those that have been investigated from the entire group of 2,500 were fraudulent. Thank you. So 40% were not. So there were some legitimate requests inside. And they did their cure process, which we're all pretty familiar with, the fact that they cure ballots and cure forms and reach out to the voter and clarify what information should be on the form, did they do it, et cetera, what was their intent, all that. That's part of the process that every county goes through in terms of curing and correcting or reconciling information that the voter's providing. And so they caught. So they didn't say what group was involved. So we're, of course, we're conjecturing Mr. Presler, who you see on the screen, the 50-foot tall man. But there's no evidence that it's him. He just happens to be running a very large voter registration operation for the right wing. And I'm going to guess it's a Roger Stoney type of Mike Flynn. But again, I don't know who he really works for directly. It wouldn't be that hard to figure out, but I haven't really looked that closely because we know what he's up to. And, that's an interesting point, Jen. 60-40 tactic in use. Very interesting. They're on the same handwriting. Well, chuds. I mean, we are familiar, right? In this group. I mean, we get it, right? Okay. Just to make sure. So, oh my God. So here's what I wonder. Okay. This is, of course, alarming. It's not unexpected. The system worked. That's because elections are relatively free of fraud and certainly not outcome determinative fraud. Sorry. That's just the way the data falls. Sorry. It doesn't fit your narrative. Exactly. Mix the truth with lies. Yeah. During Q&A, they note both parties reflected no numbers. But did you notice, and this is just my vision, my view, my perspective. When I watched that portion, to a person, they stumbled during that part. They stumbled. And I don't know if that's, meaningless, which is probably the default. Usually the simplest explanation is the best. It's just that they were being cautious about what they were saying and not wanting to draw attention in any one direction. And that is actually, I appreciate that. And I don't expect them to come out with everything. They just said they launched their investigation. So it's not like, they've had a month or something like that. Or I guess it has been a minute. But anyway, my point is that I respect the fact that they may not be ready to name suspects, basically. And that's part of due process. So that makes very good sense. What I wonder more about this particular situation is, was it a true intention to try and trick the system and defraud the vote? Or, and in my mind, somewhat more likely, that this is a setup and it's a way to, it's a Trojan horse or a red herring, right? Maybe not a red herring, but a Trojan horse where you kind of send that group in to see what happens, to see if you broke the system. Now, I don't know if they bargained for a criminal investigation. Sometimes MAGA is not as smart as you think people would be in that situation. So it could definitely be that they didn't think through to the logical conclusion. However, it could also be that they're just willing to take that risk. And that more importantly, they want to see that if they do this operation, which seems to pepper in lots of different kinds of fraud, right? Address fraud, birth date fraud, or whatever, Social Security fraud, all that kind of stuff. So it will, and it could be a left-wing group. Oh my God, we could come to find out this is like a complete, again, regardless of who does this, it is against the law. And even more so, morally, it is disenfranchising actual voters. And regardless of who does that, it is unacceptable. That's not how we win elections. It's just not. So, depending on what we find out, whatever it does, it opens it up to federal. You're right. They put them in the mail. Oh my God. TFG will pay their legal expenses. War. Any discrepancy furthers their narrative of corrupt election, which could lead to a refusal to certify. There you go, Max. There you go. So I think this was intentionally done by whomever to break the system and then cry foul. And look at how fucked up it was in Pennsylvania. Right? Yeah. So that's not great. But it was not unexpected. And I'll bet you, there's a lot of smart people with the access to actually do something about it. Obviously, the DA she seems kind of mad. Yeah, the bottom line is, I have a feeling this was probably something to kind of push for many, flood the zone and basically kind of have a self-fulfilling prophecy, Make your self-fulfilling prophecy come true. Every trick. Well, who are we dealing with? Did we not hear Lauren Windsor did the undercover video of Roger Stone in 2023? Maybe it was even earlier this year, where he said, we already got plans to reject, or whatever he said. Actually, I'd like to find that, frankly. Hold on. So this is not, I'm telling you right now, this is why I get so mad when we, we really don't know who we're dealing with in this case. You're right. And I'm sorry to kind of push us towards Scott Presler, but circumstantial evidence. There is circumstantial evidence. It might be him. And again, it might be a completely other group. He's doing some sketchy shit when it comes to voter registration. So let me see if I have this video. Oh, okay. Bragging about... Let me see how long. Oh, whoops, sorry. That's 11. Okay, let me try this one.
I'll tell you the same natural hair.
Hold on. I'm going to get that for you. Oops. Harris Waltz, Senate House, Cyclone of Blue. I know, just like, let's just write the ship. And I know we still have shit, right? Hi, J. Rance, you certainly did not. You certainly did not. We're probably hours away. God knows. But wait, I want to play this Roger Stone thing. Hold on. Okay. Meow. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, I see. Oh, I see. Here we go. Here we go. This is from June of this year. We're talking about... I am conjecturing about the Lancaster, Pennsylvania ballot issue, but Oomph and others are reining me in, which is a very good thing. We don't know who it is. Yeah, watch out. She's got her glue gun. She's not afraid to use it. Okay, but here's Roger Stone. Speaking of gluing something shut. Boy, he does not look like that. I just want that on the record. Okay, that's like a Pokemon version of Roger Stone. Am I right? Okay, here we go.
We're working on it. Well, lawyers, judges, technology.
Governors?
Some, but there aren't many with any guns.
We got to use every lever we can.
We are doing that.
Hi again, everyone. It's 5 o'clock in the East. Lawyers, judges, technology. Those are 3 words that encapsulate just how Donald Trump and his team plan to steal the next presidential election, in their own words. The man you heard on tape in his own words is Trump ally and pardoned criminal Roger Stone. He was speaking at a Catholic event in March at Mar-a-Lago, where Roger Stone was the keynote speaker. He made those comments again, thinking he was talking to a fan when he was actually speaking to progressive activist Lauren Windsor. She's the same woman who obtained recordings of Supreme Court Justice Samuel Alito that we played on this program last week. The recordings of Stone are just as alarming, if not more so, because he speaks about direct actions in the works, plans that have been drawn up on the part of Trump and his allies. The plan they have to contest the next election results based on the false claim of voter fraud. Listen to his conversation with Lauren Windsor's colleague, who was posing as a fan of Stone's earlier that same night.
What stops them from just like voter fraud?
They may, in some states it'll be easier to stop them, in other places it won't. But at least this time, when they do it, you have a lawyer and a judge whose phone number standing by so you can stop it. We made no preparations last time. None.
Well, I was at the Capitol, so I'm prepared to go back.
Well, that may not be necessary. There are technical and legal steps that we have to take to try to have a more honest election. I'm not there yet, but there are things that can be done. It's a long conversation. I'm working with changes in state law, real-time voter list monitoring, going to court as we just did to challenge some of the voter lists. The election's not tomorrow. We went into court to sue in Michigan over the handling of ballots, which we sued in half a dozen places. And if we're finally now on an offensive footing.
What Windsor and her colleague uncover here is a plan that's already in place by Trump's key lieutenant to use judges and their home phone numbers and the legal system to get the election result they want. It's a politicization of the rule of law and undermining of American democracy. And it happens while the highest court in the land is still deciding whether a president has full immunity for his actions, a decision that could come as soon as tomorrow. Roger Stone's response to Rolling Stone, which first published the recordings, was this, quote, "All of the election integrity provisions I suggested are perfectly legal and should be part of any ballot security effort," end quote. There was another part of his conversation that's also raising alarms. He spoke about the many criminal trials the ex-president currently faces, talked about how the tactics to delay those until after the November election, the majority of which have been successful so far, are so vital politically. Watch.
The president's trial in Georgia's falling apart. I think the judges are on the verge of dismissing the charges against him in Florida. They're delayed in New York City, and they're now delayed in Washington. So it's not clear that they can have a trial before the election, which is the absolute key to being able to convince people that the reason we lost was because of the trial. Right now, if they steal it, people say, well, that's not possible. Trump is leading in all the polls. They want to try him, suck up his money, suck up his time, and create a reason why their theft is plausible, believable. You see?
You see? It's where we start today with executive producer and creator of The Undercurrent, the aforementioned Lauren Windsor, is here with us. Thank you so much for being here. I want to get into how you do what you do, how you personally deal with, I saw some of the threats Roger Stone made against you to sue you today, but I want to start with what you've revealed. And I want to thank you for what you're revealing about institutions and organizations and people that you know what I mean? Are at best opaque to the public and the American people. Tell me about this conversation that you and your colleague had with Roger Stone.
Thanks for having me, Nicole. So this wasn't the first conversation that I had with Roger Stone. I spoke with him last summer at an event for Florida teenage Republicans. The goal of talking to him was really to understand what was afoot with the 2024 election. And so the initial question I'd asked him was, you know, how are you going to keep Democrats from stealing the election again? What he told me last summer was, we have a plan. It's legal. It's technical. The RNC should have done it last time. So because in that particular circumstance, I couldn't really have an extended conversation with him, I wanted to see if I could get more information on that. So Allie and I went to Mar-a-Lago in March to this Catholics for Catholics event and tried to get more information on this plan from him. So that's really the genesis of this tape.
Is it hard to get into an event like that at Mar-a-Lago?
Well, we bought tickets and we walked in. They checked our names when we came in the door. So you have to pay the fee. I forget exactly how much money that particular event costs. I believe it was $500.
Tell me about this, what you heard when he talked about having judges' home phone numbers.
Well, so that was in a conversation with Allie, but when I heard the audio from that conversation, it was definitely alarming because to me, Roger Stone, pretty much embraces his reputation as a dirty trickster, the Dapper Don of dirty deeds, right? Mm-hmm. So when he says that he's innocent in this, it's innocent preparation for 2024, should we take him at his word? He's the Dapper Don of dirty deeds. He's a convicted felon. He's discussed assassinating members of Congress, which he's currently under investigation for, or I should say has been under investigation for. I don't know the status of that investigation. So it was alarming to me to hear that he might have phone numbers of judges, and it really led me to wonder, who is he reaching out to? Is he reaching out to judges about ballot integrity, voter fraud? Is he reaching out to judges who are connected to any of the cases against Donald Trump? I don't know, and I just think that they are questions worth asking.
I'll tell you the same thing I told her. We're working on it.
About ballot integrity, voter fraud? Is he reaching out to judges who are connected to any of the cases against Donald Trump? I don't know. And I just think that they are questions worth asking.
Yeah. I mean, the last piece of tape we played is Roger Stone's view on the success of the delay strategy. How did you hear that?
Well, it was clear to me because the first thing that he went to when he said, we're beating them right now, Ali says, how so? He's not saying we're beating them, we're beating Democrats in the polls, we're beating them in voter registrations, we're beating them in any number of voter outreach metrics. He goes directly to the status of all the cases. So that to me said that the courts really are a focal point to their strategy to win. In neither conversation with me nor Ali did he say anything about positive voter outreach and organizing.
What sort of, I mean, you obviously are filling in a huge space. This is a blind spot. Those of us covering the race have no idea what Roger Stone says to people he thinks are sort of allies or in, in the trenches with him. Tell me how you decide, who to try to pursue this unvarnished truth from.
Well, so for me, really, first and foremost, for any operation, it's undercover, because I do employ other methodologies. I have done online research, produced the website Project Veritas Exposed, for example. I have bird dogged members of Congress on the Hill at events around the country. And when I say bird dogging, I mean just showing up with a microphone and a camera. And so it's really, a pretty transparent process. I am a member of the press. I'm asking you a question directly to your face. But for undercover operations, I really feel like there has to be a reason why I'm going undercover that I couldn't normally go undercover. What is it? And to me, if you're planning to overturn an election, most people aren't going to openly talk about that. And so if you look at my career since 2012, when I launched the Undercurrent with the Young Turks Network, you can see that I've had some undercover work in there, but it really didn't become a substantive part of my work until after 2020 with the Georgia runoffs. I went to Georgia for these two historic runoffs, and all of the events that I went to, I could see that these surrogates that were in the state to stump for Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue were openly talking about still fighting for President Trump, urging voters in Georgia to still fight for President Trump. And this was the middle of December. So I've really been kind of on I don't want to say a crusade, but I guess it is a crusade, a quest to make sure that we don't have a replication of January 6th, because I really do see January 6th as an on-par event with 9/11. I witnessed 9/11 on the ground. I was living in New York City, and it was, deeply, I guess, politically formative in, moving me to be more politically engaged. And so when January 6th happened, I really just felt obligated as a patriot, out of love for this country, to make sure that we could maintain the tradition of secular democracy.
Thank you so much for indulging that. I'm always fascinated by that story. So thanks for letting me play with that a little bit. We're gonna go back to our party. Oh my God! Look at our party. It's so big, it's just too big. Oh my God! There's too many parties. Okay, hold on. We only need one party. There we go. All right. Let's guess what song they're singing. Daily Pressure got famous. Elephant blank my right. What? They're riding on the chemtrails. I mean, can't you just start a whisper campaign in the Amish communities? Like a gossip? Is that possible? Can you do that? Is that possible? I don't know. I'm just wondering. Oh my goodness gracious. My brother went to buy a puppy from some Amish people, but they wouldn't do it because it was a Sunday. He even offered to leave the money under the door. Yeah, no, they can't. They can't. They can't. It's a holy day. It's God's day. You know, God who's not here. You took your nap, ready to party. Fuck yeah, Teresa. Let's go. We are going to party because you know what I'm so excited about? Fucking Willie Nelson. That's what I'm so excited. I love Beyonce. Don't get me wrong. But I love Willie Nelson more than I love Beyonce. That's it. I said it. I think I love Willie Nelson almost more than a lot of people. But my wife is trying to make me drink Diet Coke and pickle juice. What the fuck? Like together? Together, Jim? Together? Willie will make MAGA cry. I know. Willie is the man. Oh my God. I never want him to die, which is unfortunate. Yay. Oh, you did? You came in and you grew up in Amish country? Oh my gosh, Kim. That's amazing. That is amazing. Oh, he's doing the sound check. Hold on. This is so exciting. Look at everybody's like, wow, jam and jam, jam and jam. Scooby-Doo, Did you? Oh, my brothers just went to see him. Oh, I'm so mad. I want to go. Guess what? You made me. Oh, it's a DJ. Super cool. Standing in this line. All right. Maybe we can safely listen to this. Jim, why is she doing that? I have stood in line for hours at a Willie Fest. I would do it. Oh, that's Scott Presler. I'm sorry. Maybe I should move Scott Presler. Wait, where did you say you don't you know? Dude. Oh, no, that's not. Yeah, he knows that's not Willie. I'm going to actually make Scott a little smaller. Hold on. Oops, I'm so sorry. Totally in the wrong place. All right, Scott, we gotta make you a little tinier, bud. Okay? Yeah, we're going to make you a little tinier. So just hang in there. Hang in there, Scotty. You're going to go right. In fact, you can go right. I can't quite tell where the Kraken's head is right now. But maybe we should do this. He can be next to the Kraken. I don't know. I don't want to miss anything. So we're going to put him way on this side. He can be feeling up the weed. Yeah, he can't wear the t-shirt. I haven't looked at the t-shirt message, but I do want to avoid anything, that might offend someone. Except for MAGA. I'm okay with offending MAGA. I'm offending their politics, not their personhood. Loads of Amish where I grew up in mid-Michigan. Oh, man, that's so cool. Keep him away from the weed. Fuck yeah. Or make him bring some. He's got a weed company, goddammit. Has anybody ever smoked his weed? Empty his pockets. Has anyone ever... no, this is Houston. Houston, Texas, home of Beyonce. It's starting to look like a Clay Clark poster on the right of the screen. I know. Isn't it great, Jay Rance? Where's Clayberg? I miss Clayberg. Amish grow kick-ass weed, by the way. I would imagine. Do they smoke? That's what I wondered. Kim, we were talking about that and figuring that, and for large part, Amish do not vote, but understand that, yeah, if you've lived there, and they rarely vote. If they do, it's Republican, but geez, yeah, I know. Scooby-Doo, looking back Texas, Willie and Waylon and the boys. I used to sing that song a lot when I was a kid because my dad loved Willie Nelson and Waylon Jennings and all of those guys. Oh my God. Boxcar Willie. I meant they would sell weed. Oh, they're not growing, you think, Kim? Isn't that interesting? Beyonce going to bring down, oh my God, the hizzy's going to be in a tizzy. It's going to be a tizzy hizzy. What is Presler? You know what? Let's do that. That's a great idea. Who the fuck does Scott Presler work for? Because, he's Swamp the Vote. He is Swamp the Vote shit. Yeah. He swamped the vote. Uh-oh. Hold on. Just let me look at some stuff first. Hold on just a minute. No, I don't want to. I already... Hold on. Early vote action. is he's executive director of Early Vote Action, which I will go to. Let's see. I'm going to read this. Let me go ahead and quiet this down. Let me read to you a little story about little Scotty Presler. And this article comes to you from Florida's Voice. That's Florida's Voice. Early vote actions, sativa strains are bad. Yeah, they're real downers. I know. I don't know either. But I think it's Swamp. I think he's also the front man for swampthevote.com or something. We'll find out. All right, but let me read you this story from Florida's Voice. Scott Presler focuses on voter registrations in 5 toss-up states, citing Florida as a model. This was published on July 12, 2024. He is a fraud, you're right. Butler County, this is conservative activist, and he's been spending a lot of time in Pennsylvania. And I will never forget, on a space like 4 weeks ago, Gal said, you know, for some reason, I can't get out of my mind that Pennsylvania is going to be a real hotbed of trouble or something. And God damn it, she was right. All right, so anyway, conservative activist and executive director of Early Vote Action, Scott Presler, said he is using voter registration strategies he learned in Florida as a model for similar efforts in 5 toss-up states. Presler is the founder of the organization and is one of the highest profile social media present activists seeking to register Republicans that benefit the National Republican Party. He explained that Florida was once considered a purple state and now that is clearly red, which he's wrong about, but whatever. Quote, I'm focused on 5 key states. They are Arizona, Nevada, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin, Presler told Florida's Voice. She did. Would you stop? No, she thought that there was going to be some Pennsylvania particular fuckery. And it seems it might be. I mean, there's fuckery everywhere. Never mind. I'm focused on 5. Okay, wait. Anyway. Presler said Florida used to be the quintessential swing state. No, it didn't. The purple state, the state that everybody fought over. I mean, yeah, we fought over it, but I don't think it's been purple-ish. I mean, I thought it's been getting purple. Now, with nearly 1 million more registered Republicans than Democrats, PA is a no-brainer. I think she referred to the fact that she was hearing a couple of things and they were bubbling up from Pennsylvania. Jesus Christ, people. Presler said Florida used to be the quintessential... Oh, that's right. Now, with nearly 1 million more registered Republicans than Democrats, the Democrats aren't even focused on Florida in this election cycle. The dollars, the donors, the Democrats are pulling out of Florida, Presler said. My goal is to Florida, Pennsylvania. Oh, he made Florida a verb. Presler said his organization was inspired when he spent time in Florida in 2022, leading into the midterm election. During that time, he focused on the Pinellas and Seminole counties, which at the time had a plurality of registered Democrats over Republicans. Quote, we focused on a really robust voter registration operation, even doing things like gas station voter registration. Presler said, and our efforts, coupled with the Patriot and Republican groups in both of those counties, were able, going into the midterms of 2022, to flip Pinellas County from blue to red, flip Seminole County from blue to red. He said those efforts also translated to helping make GOP winners out of Florida congressional leaders Anna Paulina Luna and Corey Mills. Blech. Both of those were blue to red flip opportunities that led to a majority in the House of Representatives that we see today. I think Presler said his aim is to meet people where they are to get individuals registered to vote. Presler used Butler County, Pennsylvania as an example where he said the United Republicans of the county have an office right next to a gas station where all the truckers come off. I said, guys, why are we not setting up a tent, even outside of the location, and have a table that we're actively engaging with people while they're pumping gas? Presler said. While they're out there, that we say, you know, are you registered to vote? It's those little nuances that really create the success that we've seen in voter registration, from going to places like Walmart and Lowe's and Home Depot and Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Meet people where they are. It's very smart. It's very smart. I just went to the Marine Rapper YouTube and watched his how Trump will with Amish hunters and Christians. Oh, yeah. I mean, whatever. That's not the group I'm really worried about. I don't care what the Amish do, frankly. I don't really give a shit. I mean, they can do whatever they want. Oh, we're getting a white balance. Okay, I understand. All right. Okay. He said his organization is data and demographically driven. He pointed to the Amish community. Oh, well, this show's going to be named Amish. Okay, that's it. Fuck Beyonce. We're going to go all Amish. Jesus Christ. He pointed to the Amish community in Pennsylvania, which he said has a population of about 80,000. He said President Joe Biden won the election by about 80,000 votes in that state. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, wait. No, I don't know where it is. Where is it? I think I might have gotten rid of it. Oh, here we go. Run away! Great, we'll just do that. Okay, here we go. Presler said the Amish community is pro-religious freedom, pro-school choice, pro-bodily autonomy. They don't want the forced vaccinations, and that they align with the values of the Republican Party. Beyonce and the Amish. Yep. Beyonce Amish. That's what I'm going to call it. Beyonce Amish. And only we will know why I'm calling it that. I love that. To reach that community, we're going to sawmills and to farms, going to places like Lancaster. I don't know. I'm going to show you this fucking article because I don't believe that you're going to believe that I'm reading this bullshit at this particular moment in time. And I need you to believe me. I'm not making this shit up. Hold on. God damn. I'm actually really good at this and I have no idea why. No, I'm kidding. I know I'm not. I'm not. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just joshing. Don't worry. Okay, let me go ahead and get this on. Oh, wait. Where's that? Is that? Okay. All right. Oh, okay. That's all right. That's cool. Okay, here we go. Oops. There we go. All right, this is what I'm reading. Hold on. Make it bigger. Oh, whoops. Okay, so this is what I was reading to you, my friends. Okay? I sing to the left and improvise. We use the outhouse. Okay, here we go. I'm not fucking making this up. I need you to believe me. Listen. Presler said to reach that community, we're going to sawmills and to farms, and we're going to places like Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and going to farmers markets to meet the Amish where they are, and that is translating into voter registrations. Oh my God! Have a Mennonite friend who will only use Amish beef to make borscht. Beets, you mean? Or beef? Goes to Lancaster's. I would imagine. No, I there was an Amish grocery store in Manhattan. The Amish market. It's so good. It was all Amish stuff. Beef? Oh, I didn't know. Oh, yeah, beef borscht. Of course. Dummy. You dummy. Okay. Oh, my God. I can't believe this. Fucking hell. Wait, CF, you said all fucking winter what? You use the outhouse all winter? You know what? Okay. I'm down with that. I'm down with that. My dad had a girlfriend who had a cottage on farmland in Western Ireland. And I'm like, man, I don't really like this woman, Dad, but I really like this cottage. So, and it was like completely open and like no weatherproofing. It was just a stone cottage. It was like heaven to me. It was heaven. It was just heaven. I loved it. I would live on a farm in the west of Ireland in a fucking minute. Okay, yeah, they're stealing their identities. That's it, CF. So what the story was that we just heard about, oddly enough, the 2,500 ballots that are being reviewed because there's been some prevalent little fraud going on with these particular sets of request for a ballot, rather. Their registration requests. which is funny because, and they're from Lancaster, and they were gathered in the parking lots of different strip malls and stores, and that was the method by which these names were gathered. And it was in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And then we go over here and we read, to reach that community, we're going to sawmills and to farms, and we're going to places like, I don't know, let me pick one out of my ass. Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and going to farmers markets to meet the Amish where they are. And that's translating into lots of fake data. Oh, I mean, lots of voter registrations. That's right. That's what I said. Presler pointed to a statistic in Wisconsin that 40% of Wisconsin hunters are not registered to vote, which he called shocking. Quite frankly, if we got every Wisconsin hunter out to vote, we'd never lose another election in that state, Presler said. He also said there are 930,000 hunters in Pennsylvania and that 1/3 of the community is not registered to vote. What the hell? Is like Berkshire pronunciation. I don't even know how to do it. I'm just trying to listen to the people that did it. So I'm probably butchering it. And I apologize to everyone in that city of Pennsylvania or the county. When an election comes down to 80,000 votes, knowing that there's a potential 300,000 voters that are Second Amendment, God-fearing, constitutional-loving people, and they're not voting, mobilizing and registering that community to vote could literally save Western civilization. And by that, I mean the white people. Oh, no, he didn't say that. By empowering that community and getting them to vote, Presler said, it could save Pennsylvania, win the White House, and literally the globe. Presler added that in November 2022, voting machines were going down in Arizona, which is not true. It snowed on Election Day in Nevada. Who gives a shit? And Pennsylvania ran out of paper ballots on Election Day. Also not true. It was some of these losses that we experienced in other states besides Florida that led to the creation of my organization, Early Vote Action, because I realized we can't just vote on a singular day, Presler said. He said his organization began to make sure that Republicans have victory this November, 2024. Arr. Well, guess what, Scotty? I'm going to put 2 and 2 together and think that you're a little nervous right now about what ballot requests Amanda is looking at in Lancaster County. I have a feeling your knickers are going to be in a bit of a twisty twist. It's not our fault. Anyway, that's that. That's Scotty Presler. So when they tell you what they're doing, and the thing is that, you know, some of this stuff is not technically illegal. Now that stuff is, but some of the inauthenticness of Scott Presler may not technically be illegal, but it is immoral. It is immoral to stump for a demagogue. So it is this particular voter registration push, plus if he's found out to be actual. I mean, if we have evidence that someone like Scott Presler did something like this, that's going to be amazing. I just can't imagine he's not that stupid. So that's why I think if he's involved at all, it probably was just a stunt to say, hey, look, we tried it and it did. Yeah. Well, how many didn't you catch? That's the next words out of their mouth. Come on now. That's the next words. Those are the next words out of their mouth. So it's just like, it's this time it's not even like I have to hold my nose in the fact that somebody's stumping for a Republican, because that's the way our system works and whatever. But when you're stumping, and we know that Scott is particularly operative and shitty as a human being, frankly, in my view, then you're manipulating the vote. You're clearly, your intention is to, I don't know what. I mean, I admire anyone who's pushing to register voters. I think that you do meet voters where they are. He's absolutely right. But he hasn't demonstrated to me that he has a whole lot of integrity when it comes to elections. If you repeat the big lie at this point in time, you're done. You're done. You're stupid or complicit, and you're probably both. So you're done in my book. I don't know. Let's check in with the kids and see what's happening down in the Houston. Boys to the yard and their life is better than yours. Damn right, it's better than yours. I can teach you, but I have to charge. Milkshake brings all the boys to the yard and their life is better than yours. Damn right, it's better than yours. I can teach you, but I have to charge. We'll go crazy for.
Speaking of the Renaissance tour.
Oh, I love it. We have a great DJ. Yes. All right, I'll keep talking, unfortunately, to try and get us not to.
What do we need right now? What do we need right now? Are we gonna do the challenge? Can we do it for Beyonce?
Oh.
We gonna do it.
Can you do it for Willie, too?
Sing it!
Rest rumor to spread in the Amish community say register to vote and get their signature pistols. Right? Oh, my
On the lines
God.
we crossing. What you
Oh,
talking
this
about?
is a Beyonce.
Hey!
Okay. Let me go ahead and turn that off. I don't want to go down. I don't want the stream to be taken down. Don't give your right name. Let's see. What was the other thing that I wanted to... Hold on just a minute. Bear with me, because I had other stuff. I don't want to read that. No. Oh, those are requested. Wait, what? Oh, interesting. Oh, another white balance. We got to get the white balance. George. Make sure you get that, Josh. YouTube is getting serious. I know. They are. You're right, Badger. I know. Siren's appropriate. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so here's the thing. Yeah. This is... Let me show you this. Make sure I don't have anything there. Okay, whoops. So this is, I'll make this big. This is Clayburgh. Beautiful, wonderful Clayburgh. Beautiful, wonderful Clayburgh. Elon Musk sucks. That's what her avatar says. All right, who? 5GW, she tags her. Brett Mycelis from Midas Touch. Oh, this is going to be funny when they announce who did it. Ryan Fernier. What's going on in Pennsylvania? It is now being reported that thousands of fake ballots were intercepted and stopped from being processed. Don't ever tell me that. First of all, it wasn't ballots. It was voter registration, and Ryan, you're a dick. Nick Sorter, breaking. Lancaster Board of Elections just announced they uncovered a major voter fraud scheme in Pennsylvania. But I thought Democrats said voter fraud was a hoax. DC Drano. This voter fraud bust in Pennsylvania may just... Oh, my God. So that was the game? Really? Really? That was the game? Oh, my God. That's ridiculous. That is so totally ridiculous. I can't. But you know what? We'll find out. We'll find out. And you know the thing about it is I really am curious, and I mean this sincerely. If it is the organization that Scott has been, really on the ground with in Pennsylvania quite seriously, and he's been on plenty of rallies. He's been in lines at RSBN events, registering people. So he's spoken and given updates to all the RSBN people. So I've seen him actually in action, quite aggressive and pretty grumpy, frankly. The last time I saw him, he was pretty grumpy. But, and I wonder maybe, that's really interesting. I wonder if they notified him that he was the target of the investigation, because he got seriously grumpy at the last rally when he was being interviewed. We have confirmed violation of our election laws and criminal laws. Yep. Yeah. I read some of the redacted release from the Arlington Cemetery visit by Trump. Bunches of redacted material, but the investigation is still ongoing. Really, Teresa? Wow. Wow. I will smoke weed at their stupidity in a minute. Definitely. But I wonder if he thought that this would result in a criminal charge, if indeed it does. I mean, I just would think, and sometimes I give MAGA too much credit for thinking things all the way through to their conclusion. And so it is not out of, there is a world where that they could have tried something like this and not anticipated that it would actually, that they could use it as just a, hey, look at all that fraud. When in fact it would, I don't know. It just doesn't, I guess it's not going to, it's going to be very interesting to see how that unfolds though. So please keep your eyes on Lancaster, because that's going to be kind of interesting and telling, I think. I don't know. Thank you, Teresa. Thanks for sending that. Each conspirator is an incompetent and dishonest cheat. Or it could just be stupid MAGA. That's the thing. They could have not thought this through, but I don't know. And again, maybe it's not, right? Maybe it is just some, whatever group, libertarians, I don't know, anybody that wants to cause trouble, right? Maybe that's what it is. Who knows? We'll find out. They'll do their investigation. But, I'm going to be honest with you. We've been watching Scott Presler. All of us have been watching Scott Presler. We know who he is. And this sounds exactly the type of shit that motherfucker would try to pull. Because they don't believe in the rules. Okay? They need to win. Everybody has a vested interest in winning on that side in terms of their own personal welfare, if nothing else, because there are many of them that I'm sure are entangled or extorted or whatever in dirty affairs in order to compel their complete submission to trying to get a fucking criminal who still to this day has confidential information about national security. And I don't know, I get the fact that people, want him because he reflects their values. That I, basically understand. But man, there are some people on that side that stand up and with no hesitation speak as if he's the only way for us to come back, which of course could also be, just a bunch of hot air. Oh, who's that? Wait, who's that? Is that Lizzo? No, who is that? Darn it, I can't tell. I cannot tell. It can't be Lizzo. It's probably just a really stylish woman. Oh, really? Around the J6? What, today? Now? Right now? Oops. What happened? Oh. Hey, what happened? They just went to another picture. I swear to God. Well, there's the Capitol. Hello, everybody. McGonigal. See, there's a story I'd like to go back to, Jen. What about McGonigal, the FBI, in the New York, whatever? I can't. Oh, man. These rabbit holes get me every time. Because then I'm like, yeah, what about him? Let's see. McGonigal, New York. Whoops. NY, FBI. And why isn't Chris Wray fired? I mean, can we just fire him for the gymnast thing? Can we just fire Chris Wray for the gymnast thing? That to me is more than enough of dereliction of duty as the head of the FBI. I know Tommy Robinson was arrested. Good for him. He's a dick. He's a horrible dick. Counterintelligence. Okay, so let's see here. This was... what was the verdict? In December of 2023, a federal judge in New York sentenced McGonigal to 4 years and 2 months in prison for conspiring to violate sanctions on Russia by going to work for a Russian oligarch, Oleg Deripaska. That's right. He is head of aluminium. If you need aluminium, you go to Oleg Deripaska. That's where you go because he owns all of the aluminium foil. So there. But what happened? Where is Oleg Deripaska right now? Where? I don't know. What's this? Ex-official? McGonigal. Oh, okay. Wait a minute. I have a news story. Hold on. We're putting this together. Sorry. Slowly but surely. Let me get this one. Yeah, perfect. Okay. Let me show you this. I never looked at sweaters like this. I swear to God, people. I don't know where this algorithm comes from, and we need to ignore it. Because I have no idea why. All right, there he is. There's little Chucky, or what is his name? Is he Charles McGonigal? Well, here we go. This is another one. This is another one. Just for the 4,000 Kavanaugh tips. Yes. Thank you. Yeah, and the Blasey Ford. I mean, the J6 investigation. There's a million of them. Chaz. Well, there he is in his beautiful, antique rose tie. Ex-FBI official gets over 2 years in prison for receiving $225,000 tied to Albania. This is in addition to the Oleg Deripaska money. Okay? This guy has some shit. And I want to also talk about deferred prosecutions. Because I don't understand that. A former high-ranking FBI counterintelligence official was sentenced on Friday to more than 2 years in prison for taking hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash from a businessman with ties to the Albanian government and trying to conceal their corrupt financial relationship. Charles McGonigal, 55, he's younger than me. Oh, he should know better. Supervised national security operations for the FBI in New York for nearly 2 years before his retirement in 2018. He appeared to advance Albanian interests in the U.S. after he asked for and received roughly $225,000 in 2017 from a man who worked for an Albanian intelligence agency, prosecutors said. U.S. District Judge Colleen Collar-Codley sentenced McGonigal to 2 years and 4 months in prison for the case brought in Washington, D.C. She ordered him to serve it consecutively to a 50-month, I think it is, Jen, a 50-month prison sentence for a separate case in New York, Deripaska. So he's facing a total of 6 years and 6 months when he reports to prison next month, and this was done in February. So in March is when he went to prison. I don't know what time served might have been. I'm not sure. Let's see. McGonigal expressed remorse and sorrow for what he called mistakes, saying he betrayed the confidence and trust of his loved ones. Oh, yeah, and that little thing called the Constitution. What? We are young old. Yeah, we are young old. Remember the girlfriend. Who was the girlfriend? Wait a minute. Oh, that's right. She blocked us. What the fuck was that bitch's name? That was weird. That's right. Rudy Trump stan, yeah. Let's see. McGonigal expressed remorse, blah. For the rest of my life, I will be fighting to regain the trust and become a better person, he told Collar-Codley before she imposed his sentence. The judge told McGonigal that it appears he lost his moral compass at the end of a distinguished FBI career. When he held one of the highest national security positions in the federal government, she said his remorse seemed genuine. Unfortunately, it doesn't repair the damage. Justice Department prosecutors had recommended sentencing McGonigal to a prison term of 2 years and 6 months for the Washington case alone. Abusing the public trust is particularly egregious when, as here, the motivation was pure greed and the defendant is a law enforcement officer charged with enforcing the very same laws he flagrantly violated, they wrote in a court filing. Allison Guerrero. Fuck yeah. Damn. That's a way back. That's a way back. Yeah, she does. McGonigal was previously sentenced over the Russia sanctions. Deripaska. In December, a federal judge in New York sentenced McGonigal to 4 years and 2 months in prison for conspiring to violate sanctions on Russia by going to work for a Russian oligarch whom he once investigated. I bet he did a great job on that investigation, don't you think? The oligarch, billionaire industrialist Oleg Deripaska, was under U.S. sanctions for reasons related to Russia's occupation of Crimea. McGonigal was scheduled to report to prison next month to begin serving his sentence in New York case. His lawyers urged the judge in Washington to refrain from imposing more prison time, arguing that he had already received a just punishment for his crimes. I think he's a traitor. I mean, I don't think he's... I mean, I could be wrong, but... His fall from grace has been precipitous, having lost his job, his reputation, and the peace of his family life. Well, tough shit. Stupid games win stupid prizes. And he now faces the stark prospect of the 50-month sentence he's about to begin serving, his defense attorneys wrote. McGonigal was separately charged with concealing his ties to the former Albanian official and naturalized U.S. citizen who was living in New Jersey. Which exit? McGonigal has said that he borrowed the $225,000 to launch a security consulting business after he retired from the FBI. He didn't repay the loan. Yeah, Ray is bar here. And that's the thing. One of the things that has always bothered me and does to this day is I don't know if there was a concerted effort to remove loyalists to Trump who were intentional. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know at the department level if there was a cleanup over the last 4 years or if it was, oh, well, okay. And then things were slow walked or, you know what I mean? I can imagine a million different scenarios. I'm not saying any of that happened. I just wonder. I know. Isn't that what you ask everyone from New Jersey? Which exit? In 2017, McGonigal flew to Albania with his benefactor and met with a former Albanian energy minister, of course, and the country's prime minister. McGonigal warned the prime minister to avoid awarding oil-filled drilling license in Albania to Russian front companies, according to prosecutors. They say McGonigal's travel companion and the energy minister had financial stakes in the Albanian government's decisions about the drilling licenses. It's 7A. McGonigal pleaded guilty last September to concealing material facts, a charge punishable by a maximum prison sentence of 5 years. He admitted that he had failed to report the loan, his travel in Europe with the person who lent him the money, or his contacts with foreign officials during the trips. Holy fuck. Oh my God. How the XFBI... Oh, I want to see that. He put his own greed above service to his country, a prosecutor, Elizabeth Alloy, said. Alloy. Defense attorney Seth Ducharme urged the judge to let McGonigal serve his 2 prison sentences simultaneously. McGonigal didn't need more prison time beyond his 50-month sentence in New York to serve the ends of justice, Ducharme argued. He didn't betray his country. He broke the law. Oh, ma ho contraire, mon frere. Well, don't tell anyone, butterflies. The FBI had to review many other investigations to determine whether McGonigal had compromised any of them during his tenure. So who in the FBI did this review, I wonder? I wonder who did that review. I'm keeping an eye on the thing. Hold on. Actually, I'm gonna do 2 things here. I'm gonna do 2 things at once. Hold on just a minute. Let me just see if I can find YouTubio. Ba-da-boo. Okay, wait. These guys are back. I'm going to put the Washington Post is up, so I'm going to leave them up and they're... And ride it. Come on, ride the train. And ride it. Okay. The defendant worked on some of the most sensitive and significant matters handled by the FBI. His lack of credibility, as revealed by his conduct underlying his offense of conviction, could jeopardize them all, prosecutors wrote. McGonigal expressed remorse in a statement submitted to the court. I keep wishing this was all a bad dream I could wake up from. It's all about me. Okay, so here's my thing. He did. Here's my thing. First of all, if he was part of the whole, just as Marcy Wheeler and Nicole Sandler were speaking about the Hunter Biden investigation being a targeted harassment investigation on the Biden family, if that is truly the case, then to me, McGonigal, if someone reviewed his performance when it comes to the Hunter Biden and the Biden stuff. Let me just go to, there was a link that I wanted to go to. Maybe not. Let me just see what this is. Sentencing memorandum. Okay. So I'll link all this in the I have the sentencing memorandum. So that was in February of 2024. That's when he was sentenced on the Albanian charge. So, and he was due to start serving his 50 months for the Russian charge. Oh my God. The Russian charge in March of this year. So he's probably serving his sentence, and he has a concurrent. Yeah, but he was sentenced at the end of last year. That's correct. Thank you for that, Jen. No problem. Thank you so much. Traitoring is only illegal if you're a Democrat. Exactly. Which it is. It's always illegal, right? But that's what we do. We hold each other accountable. And, when you break the law, you have to go through another white balance check. There's a lot of white balance checks. I'm sorry. I don't know if that's really necessary, but okay. Let me see what they're singing.
Ready? Y'all ready? We need pure pandemonium when the beat drops. In 3, 2, 3, 2. What are you doing?
Oh, this is going to be bad for me. I really love hip-hop music.
I see you surfing.
Is that Soulja Boy? I don't even know. What you doing? I'm just vibing. I'm vibing. This is great. Just thinking of when he may be looking into this. Yeah, see, here's the thing. I kind of wonder. I mean, and it's not unexpected that cases are just adjudicated for what it, what they can get. But I just can't believe that the McGonigal story, and I didn't believe it at the time either. Something was rotten in Denmark, right? It just felt like there's more to the McGonigal story than we're being told. And then I think over the last couple of years, I learned the fucking deferred prosecution or whatever the hell's that called. That does not make any sense. It's basically saying, you know what? We would prosecute you, but we're just not going to. And we're going to prosecute you. We're probably going to convict you, but we're not going to do anything about it. I don't know what that is. It doesn't make any sense to me. If you don't want to hold someone accountable, just say, I'm not holding them accountable. It's incomplete. Thank you, CF. That's all I mean. It's incomplete. That's in my mind. Anyway, let's see what they're doing now. It'll be happening soon.
What you saying?
This is going to be bad. Peter Strzok, that is. Yeah. What do you mean? Like on a podcast or something? It's Russia. I mean, I don't know what's going on with Ray. I don't know. I think I don't know. I mean, I understand that my conjecture of these situations is, uneducated, with only, of course, publicly available. And even at that, I probably haven't consumed all of the publicly available information on some of these issues So, but it is therapeutic for me to process situations that I think are given less scrutiny than they actually should. And that, although I will say, Jen, Pete and Emily, or whatever what's her name? Him and her both settled with the Department of Justice, so they did get some compensation, I believe, for their trouble, which was really horrible the way he treated to take someone's retirement, like just to kind of throw their there's this thing I used to always think, like, don't get between me and my money, or don't get between someone else and their money. Don't take someone down for their living unless it's really directly tied to the bad behavior. You know what I mean? Lisa Page. Thank you, Carrie. That's right. Man, this is really annoying. Okay. There is another, hold on, there's another thing. I wanted to show you. Music. I love music so much. I saw him in San Francisco and yelled, "Yay, Pete!" at him. He got millions. Yeah, he did. He got millions, I'm sure. Which, he probably deserved because it was being taken away from him and it's probably been a rough couple of years, I guess. But yeah, good for him. But this McGonigal story, I think we're going to come back to that. That's why people are afraid to speak up. Yeah. I would have tried to tackle him. I love you. I love you. I am your justice princess. Love me. No. I know. He is excellent. And he's good looking. No, he's a good looking man. You know what I mean? Yep. It was a podcast. That's right. No, I know he has a podcast. I don't always listen. I've listened to a couple of episodes, but I'm not a regular listener. But I'm aware he has a podcast. That's good. I would hope he would. I don't know. I mean, then I think to myself, I'm the idiot sitting on the outside of this. I have no fucking idea how these things work. I know enough to know that I don't know. And that's why I'm very lucky to have the friends that I do. Oh, he does have big dick energy. How tall is he? Never mind. He only got 1.2 million butterflies? Are you kidding? That doesn't seem like that much money. I mean, I guess it was just representative of like lost income or something. Maybe that's what it was. I don't know. I always have an opinion about how things are, but they're not really based on anything. I think they got 1.5 million for breach of privacy and are still fighting over wrongful dismissal. Oh, okay. He does not have to be tall. He is hot. I just wondered how tall he was. That's all. I'm blushing. No, where I saw him, I've never once listened to his podcast. LOL. You better listen to it in case you run into him again. That's going to be bad. I don't know. But here we are waiting. Wait for Godot. Wait, where's my phone? Oh, there it is. Oh, this should be happening, man. This should be happening. Oh, shit. I missed my... Thank you. I'm sorry I didn't see that message sooner. Yeah, I think I listened very closely to the way that woman said Lancaster. I appreciate it. Let's see. Oh. Is checking to see if Bobo needed anything, but she doesn't. Bobo is completely self-sufficient. All right, let's see what music they're playing.
Ooh. Sing it. Ooh. I need to see these lights going crazy. Don't just hold them up. Show them out. Here we go. Go.
Oh, clean up on aisle 45. That's right. That's right. He does go on with Allison on that one.
Voted in early voting, make some
Yeah, he's probably already bored.
Do you know how crazy that is? We gonna throw some votes.
Sorry, I can't. I love it so much.
You what?
Oh God, I love it. Yeah. Has everyone made a plan to vote? I hope so. I hope you made a plan to vote. Please share the broadcast. We got to get to 1,000 subscribers. It's ridiculous to me that I don't have 1,000 subscribers. That's just ridiculous. I don't know who they are that I don't have, but I think we should be at 1,000. We're at 884. You already voted? I know a few of you voted. I have not finished my ballot. I finished all the federal offices, and then I finished the... I'm Kathy. It's good to see you. I finished part of my ballot, and I still have the like the little city council-y type people, like those people. I got to go through those, and school boards and all that kind of stuff. But I went through all the propositions and all the ballot measures and all the federal. And I voted for Adam Schiff, which is fine because I think he'd be a better senator anyway, frankly. He's more senator-y. And we can elect someone here in Hollywood that is a good representative for House of Representatives. This area is pretty democratic in general. You're going to vote Monday. Isn't it the best going with your kid to vote? That was just the most amazing feeling when I first went with Bobo to vote. It was so great. God, I was in tears. It was just such a great feeling when your kids like care about the world. I mean, I feel like a lot of us have just raised kids that are really caring about the world, really aware of what's happening and what people are struggling through. So I think it's a great thing. It's such a great thing. I'll probably go to vote. I don't know if I'm going to go on the day. I'll probably go, but I'll go drop it in the ballot thing at the voting center because I just don't want to wait in line. But you remember having him on your hip voting when he's little. I remember that too, taking her in the voting booth. Oh my God. So many elections. So many. And look at are you going with your grandbaby? Oh, Teresa. Oh, precious. I know. I think I know what he looks like. I think you've sent a picture. Oh, now I'm feeling bad because I don't remember. My son visits me while I'm working at the polls. He tells everyone, Mama's helping with the voters today. Oh my God, I'm dying. Oh my God. Kathy. My son visits me while I'm working at the polls. He tells everyone, Mama's helping the voters today. Oh, fucking hell. I'm dying. Oh, I'm dying. Oh, that's so good. I fucking love that. What a great group. It's the real deal. What do we listen to now? Is this Celine? Edge. Oh no, this is Lady Gaga. Sorry. Oops. Sorry, Lady Gaga. Oh my God. I confused her with Celine. Any minute now. That's right. Gaga? Is she coming out? That would be amazing. Wouldn't that be amazing? I think Gaga should come out. You know who I want to come out? John Kelly. I want John Kelly to come out. I want Mark Milley to come out. I want Elaine Chao to come out. I want Mike Pence to come out. I want, who else? All of them. We said that last night. We want all of them on that fucking stage saying vote Kamala. Because my God, this is the tagline. George W. That's right. We said George W. We want his ass up there too. That's right. Get up on that fucking stage and do your job. Oh, Jen. You guys. Okay. I owe you so much music. Oh, wait special hat. Wait, hold on. I'm going to do it again. Because I got a special hat. Oh, I got to make sure I can hear it. I got this hat at the thrift store. I got it at the... Oh, I have to take it off. Oops. I got it, I got it for $3.99 at the thrift store. Check your thrift store because these are coming in for Halloween. I got mine for $3.99. $3.99. .com. It's great. It's the best $3.99 I've ever spent. That's right. You never know when you're going to need one of these. You never, ever know. Never know. That's right. So, that's right. Hey, by the way, speaking of hats, we got to find that guy up in Shasta County. Can someone send me a link again? I feel so bad. But if you could tag me or send me a link to that video of that guy from Shasta County, I feel bad that I can't isolate it. And I really want to reach out to him and send him the dinosaur costume, the extra one that I have. My son found a sweary rant by a British comedian, Jonathan Pye, about young people not voting and sent it to all his friends. That's so cute. Nathan Blaze. Okay, hold on. I'm going to do this. I need to just put it in the vault. Nathan Blaze. Nathan Blaze? Is that what you said? Nathan Blaze. Thank you so much. I'm so sorry that I forgot. I felt bad. Okay. Oops. Well, it just comes up with a dumb guy. It's not Adam Nathan, right? Oh, here we go. Oh, he's on TikTok. That's right. He's on TikTok. Okay, hold on.
Mr. Wood, please state.
Oh, wait. Is this his TikTok account? Wait. Hold on. Is this his TikTok account? No. Welcome to Shasta. Oh! Following you, baby. I'm going to message you. Okay, so I guess, was he there? Former colleagues and victims of Tina Peters. Oh, we saw that. Let's see what else you're doing. What are you doing? Oh, Nathan, you're adorable. Oh, here was his beautiful rant. I love his rant. You did? Okay, I'm so sorry. I'm terrible with Facebook and I'm terrible with DMs. Here we go.
So it is nice to have a real meeting. I'm not sure why the last meeting was canceled. I was told that you were telling people that it was because I was going to bring violence. I mean, I don't have a history of that. I was planning on coming and disrupting, because it was a fake meeting and I'm allowed to do that. But I've never been a violent person, and despite what people like to say, I don't have a history of violence or a criminal record. So I wanted to clarify that.
Oh.
So the elephant in the room that nobody seems to want to talk about.
What the hell is playing? Oh, shit. I have no idea what's playing. Hold on. I gotta find what's playing. Wait, what is playing? Let me get rid of that. Too many windows open. Where the fuck is it? Where the fuck is it? It might be here. It might be over here. I'm gonna go over here. It might be. No, it's not that one. No, it's not that one either. Hold on. What the fuck? Hold on. Is it there? It's gotta be here. Okay, it's not there. Oh my god, don't tell me I have to close all these. I'm gonna be so mad at myself. Oh, wait. I think it's over here. Fucking campaign. It's a fucking campaign. All right. So here we go. Hold on. I got to get all this cleaned up. We got a mess and a half over here. We got a cleanup we need to make. Hold on, everybody. We got to clean up somewhere. Shit. Oh, here we go. Where am I going? Where am I going? Okay, well, I'll go ahead and do that. And then I will go ahead and hold on. Stay with me. Don't leave me. Don't leave me. Fuck. Oh. Where's my window? You need to pick my window. Come to my window. Come to my window. Who's still by the light of the moon? Come to my window. I'll be home soon. Clay, we were talking about you earlier, darling. We were talking about Scotty Presler. Jen, I think he's talking about a bullshit election commission. Which one, Kathy? What are you talking? Oh, yeah, he was. You know what? I really like, I am going to reach out to him. That speech that he gives in that one TikTok, and I'll link that in the description of this video as well, so you have it again, he's so passionate about this whole election denialism. He sounds a lot like me, but he's probably a little more well-educated on some things. And he's up in Shasta County in California, which is one of my favorite places on the planet. But that aside, I'm just really moved by the Shasta County is really struggling to maintain democracy, and as are a lot of counties up there, Chino and all that shit. So I think it's just really great to see people who are like-minded, and he says some of the same things I do. So I was going to reach out to him. Tim Pool's giving Presler a blowy. Yeah, perhaps. I mean, I think it probably is, Clay. We just read an article from July talking about his work in Lancaster, and here today, Lancaster County is the one who's saying, we had a problem with some requests for voter registration. Yeah, his delivery was beautiful. It was very clear. So yeah, we're going to try and get in touch with him. Maybe we can have him on the show. Maybe he'll come on the show just for funsies, not because we have, it's not like it's going to make him more famous than he is, but it would be really nice to connect and say, hey, we hear you and we see you from way over here in Los Angeles County. Let's see. I also have the campaigns feed of this event pulled up on a separate window. So in case sound is wonky on one, actually, I want to see what the sound is like on the campaign one. Okay, well, we'll see. They're just doing their intro right now. That's not actually... I know, the crowd's amazing. It's got to be full. No more, no enough to keep me away from you. Local Shasta County man admitted to voter fraud on Reddit 4 ballots earlier this week. So many people reported him. Now that I love. That I absolutely love. I don't know that song, so I'm not going to sing it. You get to vote tomorrow. Yay! I love voting. Yeah. So, the shenanigans we expected, like there was some ballots dumped in a storm drain, believe it or not, here in Los Angeles. That was actually reported by the Real News today. So they're working on resolving where those ballots were going to go. They were mail-in ballot or mail ballots, but they were going outward mail. Our local DA already put out a statement that he is under investigation. God damn, I love this. And I'm going to say, I don't know where the Lancaster people's mindset is, like the DA and all those people. I don't know what the mindset is, but, or if they're like, hyper MAGA or not, I don't know. But they seem very angry that it happened. You know what I mean? And I feel like it's like they have this, when they were giving that press conference, I think you could feel the righteous anger of not of someone trying to break them. You know what I mean? Like it felt probably very invasive, like you're being robbed, right? So I could see where that would feel like, God damn it. Yeah, someone also set a fire in a Dropbox, but I think that was Arizona, and I do think that was actually someone who wasn't intending. They said in the article that we read this morning, they said that person wasn't necessarily intending to do it out of election fraud, but it probably was like, either just mental illness or whatever, or pyro, whatever that is. So the World Series started. Oh no, I'm going to tell you right now. First of all, I'm not a Dodgers fan. I'm like an anti-Dodgers fan because I'm a born and bred San Francisco Giants girl. Like from a young, I was born into that. So I will never I am not rooting for the Dodgers. I'm also not leaving my house because apparently the traffic's going to be absolutely bonkerinos, and that is saying something. When they have fucking press conferences to talk about the traffic in Los Angeles, which is already bad, like it takes you a fucking hour to get anywhere. I don't care where it is in the city. Oh yeah, I'm a Giants girl. Pure blood. I'm a Giants girl. I'm a Warriors girl. I'm a Niners girl. Full stop. So I will never root for the Dodgers. They can go fuck themselves. No, not really. And just kidding. I don't really care about it. But I am a Giants fan, so I can't possibly root for the Dodgers. It's just not in me. It's not in my blood. My mother would come back and slap me. She'd reconstitute out of her ashes and just like, what are you doing? Yeah. Yes, mailbox. It was a mailbox. Yeah, because they had put them in the mailbox anyway. So, but I think that's going to hopefully be resolved too. And I bet you it's hopefully an isolated kind of area where you could figure out where did I drop my mail kind of thing. So hopefully they can get in touch with anyone. But I am really grateful to see. Yeah, exactly. I hate the Yankees too. I'm really grateful to see these election officials, regardless of their party affiliation, obviously, because has never been really a part of their job. I really feel like they really are standing in the breach and will be the ones that take the brave moves to call it out when it happens and not wait for process to kind of drive us all insane, right? I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot of that. Hi, Peace Love. How are you? You're going for the Yankees. Wait, who's playing? It's the Mets, isn't it? Isn't it the Mets and the fucking Dodgers? I'm rooting for the Mets. That's an easy one. They deserve it after all this time. Those poor fans, they're rabid. They're amazing. I can't even believe it. The series is New York. Yeah, so it's the Mets. Oh, no, it's the Yankees? Oh, is it the Yankees? Oh, fuck, no. Yeah, no, we're doing it. Well, then I have to root for them, I guess. I don't know. Why? The Mets lost. That's right. I was really rooting for them. I was really hoping. But, there you go. All right. Well, it's one of those series. It's one of those. But that's okay. That's all right. Our Giants will persevere. The Niners will do great. No, they might not, actually. You're a Met fan? I bet you are. I bet you are, Jay Rance. I thought that was sad. I was rooting for them, actually, the whole thing. I know, Paul, there are so many people who don't give a crap about the sports ball. Girl, I am all there with you. There are times when I don't give a flying fuckwad what's happening. And I certainly don't pay attention to it close enough. But I do have my childhood memories of going to Candlestick Park and seeing Willie McCovey play baseball for the San Francisco Giants. That was pretty amazing. I loved going to the park with my family. We always went because it was a pretty cheap place at that point to take your family. There's a lot of standing around at rallies. I know. I don't think I could do a rally. I'd be like, I need to bring a folding chair. Can you bring a folding chair to a rally? I wonder if you can. I don't know. Oh, I know what I can do. Let me play you the clip of the song because we won't have time, and that's actually perfect. I like to do things that set us up for failure, you know. Hold on, let me just get my YouTube. YouTubio, I love you, YouTubio. YouTubio. I just love this one. I'm going to tell you right now. Okay, hold on. Hold on, everybody. I've got some things to show you. Okay, hold on. Oh, I was an A's season ticket holder with my ex-husband. We love the Oakland A's too. I like the Oakland A's. Okay, so I'm going to show you some of my shit. I've created some really good shit. Okay, let's do this one first.
Classmates have similar ideologies as you,
Oops.
similar values?
So I go to a small classical.
Sorry. I think I turned it off. I did. Okay.
Charter school, and they really do. On Monday, the first day of early voting, we actually had 12 students from my grade in my school out standing outside of a polling place handing out cards to tell people who to vote for all the way up and down ballot, because school board races are technically nonpartisan, so people don't know who to vote for. But when you hand them a card that says, hey, these are the conservatives on the ballot, we actually have the ability to flip our local school board 4 to 3 conservatives, so we're really trying to do that. And it's helpful for people walking into the voting booth. They come out and they're like, that was so helpful. So, yeah.
That's incredible. I'm kind of just like in awe of what you're saying. It's more advanced than most 31-year-olds.
All right, so that's one. I'm keeping an eye on things. Don't worry. And this one's a little longer, so we may have to end it. Electioneering, right? Isn't that electioneering? Yeah, 12. I don't know. It's up to you. Here we go. Hey, hey, hey. We're really ready to vote. I wish it was next Tuesday. I'm ready to cast that vote. I wish it was next Tuesday, but maybe Wednesday will be better. Maybe Wednesday will be better, 'cause we will win the popular vote, but then those fuckers will start. But today I heard Mark Elias, and he said, hey, it's gonna be okay. I got my team. They're ready for action. We've already filed like 17 million suits. Don't worry, my team's on the job. Mark Elias, you will not let us down. That's right. But we've got to do our part. Get your car and start. Make sure you turn in your vote and vote blue all the way. I don't give a shit what you say, 'cause it's time to fucking do it. That's right. It's time to do it. Oh, but wait, there's more. That's right. That's right, Lee. Flynn is in that hot seat where he oughta be. And he has Ivan Raiklin on his lap. That's right. I said it. Little Ivan Raiklin on his lap. Ooh. And Ivan Raiklin's dancing. Ivan Raiklin's dancing. That's right, I said he's dancing. But he's on Flynn's lap. Jump off there, Tiny, before you get a case of crabs. Ooh. Hey, Mike Flynn, how are all those subpoenas? When you got all 8, did you all grab your penis? Did you grab your penis? Did you grab your penis? Yes. penis. We all grabbed our penis. We all grabbed our penis when we heard about the 8 subpoenas. That's right. I'm scared. That's okay, but I'm scared. I don't wanna go to prison. Can I take Eric Prince into prison with me? 'Cause I need a buddy. It's better to have a buddy in prison. Just ask Navarro. Because he only had Joe Greenberg. And Joe Greenberg doesn't do anything except whine about Matt. Peter Navarro knows how to make toilet wine. Peter It's an Navarro EP. It's an EP. His recipe to Tina Peters. Get it? Peter Navarro and Tina Peters. What are the chances of that happening? But back to Mike Flynn and him grabbing his penis. He's grabbing his penis. Yeah, 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 yeah. Grabbing his penis in public. Doing it on his podcast. Mike Flynn, just give in to the sin that you're in, Mike Flynn. You're in a tin of sin, like a sinny sardine, yeah. Thank you. That's my new dance hit. Mike Flynn's lap dance. You're welcome. Coming up next is a little ditty I like to call Trump grabbed my pussy and I didn't like it. No, he tried to do it in front of John Kelly. This is my John Kelly ode. John Kelly said, wait, why are you grabbing that woman's pussy, especially in front J-Rants. of me? Yesterday.
John Kelly, you're gonna be the hero. Come on.
It's released as an EP on its own video.
Yeah, you've known for
I'll link it.
years, but hey, who's counting? I don't care when you talk, just talk. Come on, John Kelly. John Kelly. John Kelly. John Kelly. Oh, hey, you're not John Kelly. What? Where is our hero, John Kelly? Actually, you're better. You're Pastor Warnock. Now let's get this party started. Thank you for coming to my album release. Thank you.
Well, hello, Georgia!
There's me with the gang. Sorry. I know. Goofy. Sorry. Anyway, that was my album drop from last night. If you missed it, it's available as an EP now. So would highly recommend. Get it for Christmas. Remember, it's Christmas time. Remember. Did you check your voter registration, darling? Let me see if I can get. Midnight. It's a lot. I can't remember what I called it. There you go. There's the album drop. I know you're going to really want to listen to it again. Yeah, it actually doesn't. Well, you know what? It's supposed to start at 5:40 my time. It's 5:31, so it should be working. Or it should be starting soon. But boy, well, it's fine. I mean, I don't mind. 30 minutes. Freedom. I know, Karen. Here we are on a Friday. Go figure. Go figure. And we still have to play trivia tomorrow. And on Sunday, don't forget, kids. On Sunday. Lolo, me. I won't talk about myself in the third person. That's annoying. I'm going to put on the dinosaur suit and I'm going to go out. I know I love that song too easily. I'm going to go out to Hollywood Boulevard. Dino Sunday. Yep. It's Dino Sunday, and I'm not like wishy-washy. Oh, you should go ahead and. But I think that's no. It's not right, Max, though, because theirs was supposed to start at 6:40 my time, so an hour. Let me see where. Where do I have the other? I had her channel pulled up just a second ago. God dang it. Oh, God dang it. I had it. Check your history, woman. Here we go. This is the official. That's the official Kamala. I have the sound coming from that right now. So we'll see whose sound is better. A Dino and a Little Syzygy album dropping the same week. I know, right? Hello. I did kind of rap at that one point. Flynn, Sin, Tin, Cinny Sardines. Cinny Sardines is pretty brilliant. I'm going to put this one on the big screen. Hold on. Come back. Okay, yeah, that's what I want. There, and then I close this. And then we have a picture. There we go. That's a little better. Wow, it's kind of big. You're covering up my boyfriend. There you go. That's my boyfriend in the back. Do you see him? He's got a knife. Be careful. He is very, very protective of me. Just kidding. Ooh, this is their music. Oh, I kind of like that. Oh, Chappelle? No, he's a transphobe. We had a little bit of an issue out here. I mean, I laugh at some of his stuff, but he's made some fucking weird-ass statements about trans people, and it's just kind of gross. So, unfortunately, he's canceled. Yeah, he's canceled. We don't want him. How about that? There's no room for bigotry. There's just no. You got to get over it. You got to do a mea culpa. You have to, I think there was, what was that one guy's name? Was it Neon or someone? It was Neon. I don't know. It was one of those singers, hip hop singers. And he actually, I heard him speaking about, he had made a comment that was homophobic, and then I think I'll have to get the details of it. Let me get the details of it before I say, but basically this person really reached out to that community after being exposed for that and did some work, and I really feel like that was something that was worthwhile. Oh my God, it's, what's her name? Honey.
Hello, Houston.
Oh, are we going to have sound issues? I'm going to be freaking out.
Wow. The
Thank you.
energy in this room is incredible. I am so honored to be here. My name is Jessica Alba. And I stand before you today because the stakes in this
I have another one
election
standing by.
could not be higher. Our rights, our freedoms, and democracy are on the line. My father was in the Air Force. I don't know if you know this about me, but I spent much of my childhood in Del Rio, Texas. I still miss a lot that Tex-Mex food. We have not figured it out in LA yet, let me tell you. But it was here in Texas that I learned the importance of looking out for your neighbors, lending a hand without hesitation, and treating people the way you would want to be treated. It's this Texas spirit of compassion, generosity, and unity, along with my strong Mexican-American family values, that shaped who I am today. Vice President Harris has spent her entire career embodying these same values. We all know we need the hopeful path laid out by Vice President Kamala Harris and Governor Tim Walz. A vision that unites us, protects our freedoms, and creates a brighter future, a more inclusive future for all. As a mother, I'm excited by VP Harris's new way forward, focused on uplifting families and the middle class. They will expand the child tax credit to provide a $6,000 tax cut to families with newborn children. Because they believe that no child in America should live in poverty. As an entrepreneur, I am inspired that as part of her opportunity economy agenda, Kamala is fighting to help small businesses and entrepreneurs innovate and grow by expanding the startup expense tax deduction for new businesses from $5,000 to $50,000.
That's big.
Right?
They're doing things. She's talking about things that they
This
do.
will help entrepreneurs get their ideas off the ground. Imagine the difference this could make for all of us. And as a woman, I know we need a leader like Kamala Harris who is dedicated to protecting reproductive freedom.
She does have nice
Ensuring that
products in her company.
decisions
Yeah.
about your body are made by you. Right? Never by the government. Because Kamala Harris understands that protecting reproductive freedom isn't about politics. It's about our right to choose. And these are just a few of Kamala's policies and beliefs that will change so many lives for the better. Because going back is not an option. Kamala Harris doesn't just want Houston, Texas to survive. She wants y'all to thrive. Okay?
Hi, Scott. I didn't see you come in. How are you,
So
darling?
let's hear it, Houston. We are not going back. We are not going back. Woo! Not going back. Not going back. Woo! All right. With less than 2 weeks until Election Day, I'm counting on each and every one of you to spread the word and encourage everyone you know that is eligible to vote to get out there and vote. So Houston, let's do this. Please join me in electing Kamala Harris as the next president of the United States.
Yay! Good job, Jessica Alba. That rocks. Pamela. Is that what they're calling her? Pamela. Oh, she's cute. She's like, I don't really care what
I know they say be strong in the Lord, but it's taking God's strength. This is the hardest thing